Greetings, motherfuckers, and welcome to Rolling With It, the stream where we talk everything roll of the dice. We have the chance to poke some holes in the cheese of our DM, Sean, as well as discuss some ifs, ands, what ifs, and what happened so far. There's been 24 sessions of this stream. Some of it was pre-streamed, so we had 10 episodes before. And we're going to get a chance to talk to all of our castmates and players today. First, we're going to start with introducing some of the originals, the OGs of the game that started from Session 1 and Session 0. So first, I'm going to bring on Jackal, who plays Dralosar.
Oh, hello, assholes.
Hey, asshole.
How's it going, asshole?
We're going to bring on Zokoku, who plays Nidria.
Hello. Yes, hi.
And we're going to bring on our DM, Sean Shade, who tries to kill us on a daily basis.
Weekly.
Hello.
Yeah, well, I'm
Hello.
on a daily basis.
Understandable.
Sometimes on a daily basis.
Sometimes on a daily basis.
Only a select few. I'm nice.
So welcome to the stream, guys. Now, as we all know, Ronan came into the stream on came into the campaign on Session 4. So there is 4 whole episodes in which I have no clue about. And I figure that if we are going to start anything, we might as well start it proper with Chapter 1, Origins. That's backwards. But who gives a fuck?
It's only backwards to you. We can see it right.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So how about starting with where it all began? So this ragtag group of misfits, what started Roll the Dice?
Okay, so I think that's where I start. So what basically started Roll of the Dice was me wanting to cure some boredom at first, and then wanting to drag some friends along the way. So that's where Jackal and Zokoku came from. And it was just me wanting to finally get back into D&D, really, with the start of it. And I wanted to do it in the world of Wildemount since I had recently got the book at the time. I'm like, hey, let's do this.
So how many years experience do you guys have playing different D&D characters and stuff?
Is this an everyone question?
Yeah, everyone question.
I've had about before this campaign about 3.5 years experience.
Oh, 3 years.
I don't. How old am I? Carry the 7.
Track for 1, multiplied by 2.
I've probably been in about 15 different campaigns, with about 4 to 16 months per campaign.
Damn, so you've had some long-lasting campaigns.
Yeah. Not D&D, but some other role-playing games lasted like a long time.
Like Pathfinder.
Yeah, what was the? It was one. I can't remember the name of it. It was like super old.
Rifts.
It might have been Rifts. We played. I know I played a couple of Rifts campaigns.
Rifts was my actual first introduction to roleplay, because my cousin was obsessed with it, and so that was my first start. How about you, dude?
I've been going since. God,
Jake, you should unmute yourself.
You're muted.
Yeah, I don't want there to be double. So.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna stay muted. Sorry if it sounds weird, but
You can talk louder.
Sure, why not?
Perfect.
I've been playing since God, what was it? Middle school, like 6th, 7th grade, and I was introduced to first edition D&D by one of my friend's dads who had all the original books. And since then, I've just kind of been hopping from campaign to campaign. Some of it being first edition, some being 5th edition, some of it being different rule systems like Pathfinder or Cypher. Recently, I just got the Dishonored RPG, so I'm looking to make a campaign out of that.
That's pretty awesome. We've got we have the origin too. So, what did the first episode look like? Do you guys remember?
I remember.
Yeah, I remember.
I remember a lot.
Almost TPK by a rat, by 2 rats.
Wait. On the first.
No.
Not
Well,
that
I
was the
guess
first- that was the
session
first
0 was almost TPK by a rat, and so was session 1 was almost TPK by a rat also.
So you guys, the whole party was almost taken out by a rat. One
Yeah.
rat, or was it like a gaggle of rats?
It was 2 rats, and I wasn't really involved in the fight until I had to be, because I was like, you guys are fighting rats, you're going to be fine. And then I walk in and everybody's like dead or unconscious, and I'm like, what is happening here?
You guys are the worst exterminators in the world.
So we did have another party member that went by the name Smoog, that was a very fat man that loved trying to cook everything and didn't really care what it was, would just try to cook everything, and had this crazy obsession with rats and trying to make stews and literally trying to just steal everything and turn it into a stew. And it was ridiculous.
And
Is that what led to almost TPK? Was Smoog's desire to have rat stew?
yes,
Yeah.
yes, it was.
Basically,
and
Snook was
and
like,
also Nidria's desire to try to TPK us.
that's where it stems from, session 1.
To just say, you know what, I don't like it here. Let's just kill everyone. Not really. Well.
Spoiler alert, has changed. But I remember Smoog. So when Ronan started, that was episode 4, and Smoog was still there as a fat, jolly cook that he was. But where did you guys meet? Where was the location of all the characters meeting and stuff?
So the party
so-
met in the town of Barrelbend.
Yeah, in a tavern. Of course.
Of course. As all D&D campaigns start out. She started out in the town of Barrelbend, which is right next to the Labenda Swamps.
So I got a question. Everyone that's watched the stream at least has seen a little bit. If you watched all the episodes, you've seen a little bit of Jackal's character, Dralisar, which is like an unpleasant, grumpy, dragonborn, Russian-speaking like being. And so my question is, how the hell do you get such a distempered grump to join forces with this ragtag group of misfits?
Easy.
Money.
Yeah, easy. Money and
Show
killer
me that
rats.
cheddar.
Money
Always
and killer
money.
rats.
So what was Dee's reaction to like seeing the party almost TPK'd and like unconscious
By rats.
by rats?
Almost really didn't care, to be honest. It was more like I was told that this fat bastard was in the back trying to steal rats and make stew, and I made a deal to make some coin with the barkeep, and the barkeep was like, if you go handle that, I'll pay you some money. So I tried to handle it, and then, of course, I ended up fighting rats. And then I had to drag Smoog's fat ass out the back door. We almost got caught by a bunch of guards coming down the road. Like, it was absolutely ridiculous. So then we had to ditch the guards, and then Nidria tried to sell us under the bus. And
That was stuff that happened after session 1.
that was after session 1, you're right.
So
That was directly going into session 2. Nidria was like, oh yeah, those guys? Yeah, they're right over here. Here you go.
And that was after Dralisar opened a box he was told not to open, and then
And you built the only shop in town.
No. I blew up that shop that was like session 3.
yeah,
No. You were already involved. So that was like session 5. Yeah.
that was session 5 because I remember the blowing up of the shop.
That's my memory's garbage.
So Nidra, how did you come into it?
So, just general backstory.
Yeah, like
Sure.
So Nidria comes from Rorhas, land of dunamancy and monstrous races, and she's like, "Listen, my whole clan's trying to stop this war in the worst way possible. So why I'm going to try and be like a peacekeeper of sorts." And she was very ignorant to the customs of Wildmount on the other side of the mountains, and it was a horrible experience, really, for everything, for everyone involved, because she just could not keep a secret.
I know that one.
Wanted to learn everything and couldn't keep any of it in her fucking head.
Blame my unit.
That's perfect. Perfect summary. So both Dralisar and Nidria both come from Jorhas, yeah?
Yeah.
So what brought Dralisar to Wildmount? To wherever the hell we were.
to Barrowbend.
Yeah.
Well, mostly just traveling, trying to find out information about different things, looking for money, of course. Just kind of, perusing, seeing what kind of work was around, what kind of people needed killing, what kind of, sheep needed skinning, that type of thing.
So, is there any background story that you can divulge? Because I know that Dee is actually a pretty mysterious character in itself.
At this time, there is not too much that I can say about the background, as Dee will be hopping back on and coming back to the stream starting on this Friday.
Oh, shit. It's about to go down.
About to go down.
Damn, shit's gonna get hot and icy at the same time. Icy hot.
I'll let you know a little bit. I'll give you a sneak peek. All right.
Oh, you're just gonna give us the tip.
Where we are currently in the game is an extremely, extremely dangerous place for Dee to go because of what's happening very close by. I'll tell you that.
I figured as much. As we get up there, that's definitely some shit that I've been putting together in my own brain.
You also have some insight though, because you saw the original character drawing which gives away a couple of things that other people don't know about yet. So
I know all the things.
So, session 2. What happened with session 2 after Nidria threw everyone in the bus?
So session 2, we ended up in the forest.
Well, that was like between session 2 and
was that 2 and was that 3?
Okay, so session 2 was when you guys were just exploring Barrelbin.
Right.
And that's actually when you guys met Honor, the red tiefling.
Right, he was being attacked by frog creatures.
Oh, notorious.
Yeah, this is where like Honor was first brought into the campaign, was in Barrelbin. And
because before Honor, there was a whole bunch of dishonor.
That's true.
And you guys just mainly went around the town exploring everything, really, and like just looked for jobs to do. And that's where Anna, what you doing, sweet cheeks?
So for I don't know how many times
voice.
people have seen her. Has she been in the stream yet?
No.
You guys haven't been back to Barrelbin since session like 5.
Pre-stream, which is what this whole section number uno is about, is we actually had this one character that was like Nurse Joy from Pokemon. Like, she was everywhere. Every freaking tavern that you went into, she was like this dwarven creature that had this big-ass beard. And yes, she had a big-ass beard. And she had that voice that, like, I smoke 10 Pall Malls packs a day, and friggin' I kill boars with my fingers.
It's like Mrs. Big Mouth from Rocco's Modern Life.
Yeah. Hey there, how you doing?
I've been smoking for 8 years.
Yeah, so she was a recurring character in a lot of our early sessions. She was fun. So when Ronan joined, Ronan joined in a swamp. So the origin of Ronan is that he woke up in a cell to a whole bunch of commotion. He heard like trolls and everything yelling in trollish. And there was this whole debacle happening, and he had to escape from the cell, which he has a lockpick set, so that was easy. But what I don't know is how you guys got there.
Yeah, so session 3 is when we ended up going into the swamp area and being attacked by toads. Which nobody, mind you, asked how big these toads were, or what kind of toads they were,
Toads,
or
most likely.
Any defining characteristics other than like we're just gonna get fucked up by these toads, right? So
by both toads and frogs.
Toads and frogs, right? Who were in a battle with each other. It was all kinds of messed up. But I found a bag of holding that had a certain staff that somebody decided to lose.
Hey, that's
We'll get into that later on down the road.
So yeah, there's apparently a whole bunch of storylines that everyone missed once we got to the swamp and we're getting out of the swamp. That Shade is still butthurt about today.
Yeah, there was
we said fuck all of that. We're doing our own thing. Anything that he tried to plan was just like, nope, fuck that. We're not doing that. We're gonna go over here into East Bumfuck Land and get ourselves killed because we don't know how to follow simple direction.
Yeah, apparently, like I've heard it 8 billion times how there was so many storylines planned, so many hidden items, so many like quests that just were bypassed in one fell swoop, and not to mention, escaping the swamps and escaping the prison. I remember I surprised everyone when I came into being because Dee, you were actually you were knocked unconscious or you were killed.
He was murked instantly.
I was fucking annihilated by that troll.
The troll.
Like, annihilated.
And so Ronan comes out, and Ronan surprises everyone because Ronan, of the languages that he knows, one of them is troll. And I remember Shade's response to that. Shade was just like, "Wait, what? You know troll? What?" And so I spoke to the troll, and I tried to tell it that it was going to die, and that if it kept on swinging and it caused death if he tried killing people. And it mistook what I said. And Shade, can you tell everyone what the troll thought that I said?
I am death!
Yeah. So Ronan fucked everyone with that. We did defeat it. Was that you?
No,
that had something to do with Drellisar.
Yeah.
Drellisar made a deal.
That's right.
He became a warlock.
Drellisar became a warlock and came back from the dead. And the deal itself is a bit murky to the rest of the crew. We don't really know.
We have no idea
what happened. We just know Drellisar came back. You know, out of character, of course, we know what the hell happened, but in character, no clue, no clue. And that started with a mysterious symbol on your left hand, right?
No.
Left hand.
Okay. Just to say, I will throw anything. I will throw this out there. In the later sessions that we had in the plane of Wayur, if Drellisar was more prominent there was some good story there that could have happened.
All I'm gonna say right now is, fuck you. Because here's the thing: am I allowed to just talk freely about this?
Yeah, sure. It's rolling with it.
Okay, wait. Okay,
what the fuck with it?
Hold on.
Okay, what session range does this have to deal with?
Everything.
All right.
Yeah, everything. So, I was in Sean's first campaign he ever ran.
Okay, but no spoilers.
So I know what the symbol is. I know who that symbol belongs to. Am I allowed to say the name?
Drellisar. Yeah. Because Jackal. I introduced the name of the character. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Devlet. Devlot? I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce. But yeah, pretty much she's this deity that is really, really dangerous. And it's very dangerous that D has made a deal with them. Because in the previous campaign...
And that's it.
That's it? That's all you get?
Fuck!
The DM has silenced you. You know when you have been silenced, we are really fucked.
Yeah, definitely.
That is, we are more fucked than an orgy. So, after we escaped from the swamp, I clearly remember this because I know that this was a storyline that was trying to happen really hard. We heard the army of toads and frogs in the background just going at each other, and we had the option to go back, but we didn't. We went ahead, and I don't recall how this happened, but I know that we blew up a shop.
Yeah.
That had entirely to do with Drellisar going to a shop and just looking around. I mean, he found some items that were he found a box about like this size, and it actually had a really awesome magical item in it that he was warned not to open. But knowing how my players are, do they listen? No. So you open the box and got a 5th level fireball to the face.
I think that's a good starting question for you there, Shade. So, on session 5, you had kind of a full gamut of the original players. How was it DMing us?
Yeah.
About as good as it is now.
So absolutely god awful. Got it.
So like, fuck you guys, fuck this, fuck everything.
I've learned not to actually plot storylines because of this shit.
That's fair.
Hey, I mean, like there's a decent storyline that's emerging. So
I've just been letting it go naturally at this point. I've been planning. I've like because of like the first like 8 sessions of the campaign, I've learned to plan based off the party's choices.
So what was the magical item in the box that I blew up?
yeah, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I cannot tell you.
Wait, what? But it's blown up.
Blown up.
As far as you know, yeah.
You blown it up. What do you mean I can't tell?
What do you mean you cannot give?
It's an indestructible magical item that is very important to the story.
It's a ring.
So,
It's a ring.
All I can tell
Whoever
you is
married
it's a
that person with that ring is fucked. I have for you explosive ring here, where we cement our vows in our own guts. So as we went past the blowing up of the shop, we ended up going to the dash.
You're skipping a major part.
Are we?
yeah, because
Okay, so the part you're skipping is Nidra got high.
yeah,
Super high.
super high. She said something she shouldn't have.
Remember
And
you told her? Yeah.
she just said, "We don't like you.
Yeah,
Get out."
yeah. Nidra was like, "Hey, I'm going to act like I'm drunk instead of high."
Because I don't do drugs, kids. Kids don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs, okay? Drugs are bad.
Like once you turn 18,
Good.
you're legally an adult. But like until then, don't do drugs. Don't do anything like that.
So who did Nidra divulge all the secrets to?
The crown
Everyone.
Everyone.
in the town.
And what secrets did Nidra divulge?
That's
I'm
from
from
Dross.
Oh.
And I do Dunamancy, which is forbidden.
Yeah.
And Praise Ioun.
Well,
Also
Duke
forbidden.
is based off of Kel Mitchell, right? It just makes it sure that he's a dude, she's a dude, everyone's a dude. We're all dudes.
and so what saved the party from imminent almost being fucked over was Honor.
Honor saved our asses because he's like, let's put this away.
That's been like the undertone of the campaign is like Honor's the main
Honor
character.
saving asses, yes.
Yeah. Honor is going to be the big bad. Watch.
So you got high and divulged all the secrets. Honor protected our ass. And then from there, what was the next step of our journey?
The next step was actually no. The blowing up of that shop happened before you guys went to the swamp.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, so that happened before you went to the swamp.
No.
No, okay,
That was after.
no. This
Yeah, I remember it being blown up after.
This is what happened. You guys blew up the shop on accident. All that shit happened. You guys went into the swamp after being attacked in the bar because of Nidra telling the party she's from Jorhas and assumed you guys were looped in with her, which is kind of what I used to force you guys together as a party.
See, that would make
I thought
sense.
that we fucked off with Honor right after that.
Then you guys went into the Labena swamp, tried to do that little thing. And then as you guys were escaping from the swamp, you guys jumped into a cart with Honor and hauled ass off.
Yeah, because I don't remember Nidra getting high. That was before me. So that had to be like session 3.
Yeah.
You know, and then you guys fucked off.
It was session 3 because while we were perusing everything,
Yeah.
everybody else went to sleep, and I said, "Fuck that! I'm going to find some shit."
And then after that, because that happened in session 5, session 6 was you guys just spent the entire day going to Zadash, and then session 7 actually was spending time in Zadash.
That's where I was hitting on everyone, wasn't it? That's where I started hitting on the Nurse Joy things, and I was like, hey. What's under that beard?
Oh, wouldn't you like to know, sweetie?
Right, but that wasn't the same person. It was like her sister.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually ended up hitting it off with one of the sisters. Like, she actually responded back to Ronan's advances.
Which means they're not the same person.
Yeah, because one was like, no, one was taken. One had a husband or something.
Homewrecker.
Sweet. So yeah, we fucked around session 6. Session 7, we started heading out to, I think it was it Zadash?
Yeah, you guys were like starting to explore Zadash.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then what were the notable things there? Trying to recall.
I would have to look at my DM book, but that's in the living room.
So, interesting point of fact: the person that used to keep all the notes is Sagoku. Was the resident note keeper. Every session that we started up, they're like, "All right, so it was notes for the last one," and then Sagoku would be like, "I got them," blah, 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 and tell us everything that happened because none of us took notes. At least I didn't take notes. I don't think. Jackal, did you take notes?
You want to see my notes from the session? From
Sure.
0 until I haven't played. That's everything that I wrote down.
Well, that's super shorthand. Look at that.
Yes.
Isn't? I know what that is. I know exactly what that is. So, just prefacing, when we get to session 9, things got really fucked.
So my shorthand notes I have right here. Session 9 is literally in all caps.
Wait, session 7.
So session 7 is Nidra's out by herself. She was trying to go to the Penta Market in Zadash because she didn't realize how late it was. And she gets attacked by what she believes to be
bandits. Cultists, yeah.
She believes them to be cultists because weird magic. She gets saved by an Azamar protector named Mercury.
Yep.
And the whole party meets him. He's just like Bahamut.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, I remember that.
And Ronan learns of some woman who lost 5,000 gold pieces and her home to the Starosta.
That was session 7?
That was.
Holy crap. Yeah, so session 7, Ronan got drunk. Everyone got drunk off of Brogus. Ronan was able to hold his ground with the last one standing. Now, Brogus Ale in this realm is, I think, a concoction made by Shade himself, which is like the strongest alcohol that you can have in all the land. It knocks you on your ass, but everyone else had like this drinking contest, and Ronan was part of it and survived. Everyone else kind of passed out. And Ronan started trying to hit on this one chick that was crying in the corner because he was like, "Oh, easy prey." And it turns out that she lost like $5,000. She had a fiance, and she was losing her home because her dad died. And so Ronan was on a quest to try to save her. And what the hell? So the next morning when everyone wakes up, he had written it down on a boat in a notebook, which is like the first note that Ronan ever took. And he told everyone that we needed to save her. We meet Mercury, and we at this time we're on a quest to go to the Starosta because we find out that the Starosta is the one that's holding the lease to the house of this woman that's losing her home because her father died, and so we're gonna try to break in his home and try to find out his secrets and hold some leverage over him. So there's a plan to start this, to start a distraction. Now D, because D is like a black market kind of dragonborn guy, sticks back and is dealing with the black market as we go off. And Mercury decides that Mercury is going to go to the middle of the town square. And
This was because we had made a plan of like, this is how we're going to go about getting to the Starosta's house. We need a distraction, and before we could go any further, we all just immediately thought, Mercury, he can perform a whole sermon for Bahamut in the middle of town square, and we can just sneak in. We tell him the plan. We say you can praise Muhammad as much as you want, and he's out the fucking door before we can get anything else planned. And so we're just winging it as he's going off.
And Ronan can Ronan's a charlatan, so Ronan can disguise himself and decides to disguise himself as a grounds guard to go inside the mansion of the Starosta. Meanwhile, we had another character at the time that Sarah played. I forget what her name was.
Don't remember.
But
Nissa.
Huh? Who?
Nissa.
Nessa. That's right. Nessa, who was also my cellmate in the swamp, Ronan's cellmate in the swamp. Nessa and Nidria are on the lookout of Ronan to try to help guide Ronan through the mansion because Nidria has a familiar, which is an owl, can see where Ronan is. So Ronan successfully gets in. Nidria is underneath a barrel, and Mercury. Wait, before Ronan gets in, Ronan's in the crowd because this is important here.
This is important.
Ronan's in the crowd, and Ronan is amazing at deceit. You know, it comes with the territory of being a charlatan. And friggin' Bahamut worship is happening. Everyone's like, yeah, Bahamut. Mercury is friggin' getting everyone interested, and Ronan decides to go along and get people interested as well. Now, Ronan being very charismatic and like enthralled in it and trying to deceive these people as hard as he fucking can, is spotted by Mercury. And Mercury sees Ronan's enthusiasm and decides to choose Ronan as the chosen one of Mercury, right? I mean, of Bahamut. So he gives Ronan an amulet, or no, was it a
necklace?
Blackstone necklace of Bahamut that gifts Ronan with a perk power. And Ronan now is stuck worshipping Bahamut. Now, Ronan doesn't worship really anything, like, at all. So this whole having to worship something really strikes him weird, but every single time he ends up saying Bahamut, he almost vomits. So that's when we discover that Bahamut is like his pupil.
It's his trigger word.
It's my trigger. It's Ronan's trigger word. So he's like, I love Bahamut. So he ends up infiltrating the mansion under the prowess of Bahamut, under the like will of Bahamut, and he makes it upstairs. But Ronan, even though he's a rogue, does not check for traps, and is heading down a hallway, which ends up zapping the shit out of him. He ends up at like 2 health, and he's smoldering. Some guards are coming up the stairs. He perceives them, and it does him no good. He ends up getting kidnapped and thrown into a basement and interrogated by the Starosta and his voodoo brother, Donnelly. Meanwhile, back at the tavern, Dee discovers that everything is fucked. Because Dee, take it away. What was Dee going through?
Yeah, so I decided not to go out there because all kinds of nonsense was happening. And, well, let me start over. First, I decided to leave the tavern after talking to Honor and try to figure out what the fuck was going on.
You forgot who else you were talking to.
I know exactly who else I was talking to. So I left the tavern and I went out and went behind the wall of the mansion and saw all this craziness ensuing. You were getting dragged away by guards at the moment, and everybody else was getting caught, and yada yada, so on and so forth. So I said, to hell with that. I'm not going to be no part of that. I went back to the tavern, and I told Honor and Mr. V what was going on. And I was like, they're in a world of shit. I should probably just stay in this basement because I don't want to be in a world of shit. And I need your help. So we need to help them get out of whatever is going on. And that's kind of where I was. And they were like, well, we kind of need to talk about this. And I was like, okay, I'm going to sit over here and get smashed at the bar. And you guys figure out what you got to figure out.
So
And that's
that,
where
that marked the moment that everything fell into absolute chaotic shit. Because the moment that Ronan got dragged away, Nidria realized. Nidria, what happened?
So, Nidria realized that Ronan was being dragged away. She's like, oh, fuck. What are we going to do? And she starts to freak out. And chaos ensues to the point where she has nothing better to do but cover the lapel on her shirt and say a quick prayer to Ayun for guidance.
Ayun is a band god, right?
Yes. Yeah. He's the deity of Jorha, so worshipping anyone outside of Bahamut.
Well, outside of the idealized idolatry of the Dwendalian Empire. And yeah, Nidria decided to do this in front of a whole bunch of guards.
Because she was completely lost. She's like, what do I do? And so she gets dragged away, Nessa gets dragged away. He's the only one that's free. Mercury is nowhere to be found because he vanished from the campaign after he had that amazing display.
Yeah, which was I think one of the first major party disappearances that like fucked over certain aspects of the campaign. Like Mercury bounced out and started this whole commotion and was nowhere to be found. So
that's where I coined the phrase. There's such things as succeeding too well and backfires.
So
that's also when Sarah's character decided to shoot an arrow into the crowd.
Yeah.
And thankfully succeeded entirely and didn't hit anyone.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
That would have been so bad.
That would have been 2 characters for execution.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while Ronan's in the basement, he wakes up and there's this voodoo guy in front of him, and he has these floating skulls, and they sink fangs into him. Ronan's trying to keep his cool and trying to get out of the situation. He finds out that Nidria is being sentenced to death because that's the punishment for worshiping banned gods is being sentenced to death.
Not only that, she was also a Jorhasian with forbidden Jorhasian knowledge, and was assumed she was a spy.
Mm-hmm.
Also, this was what currently is also being discussed about this was a 9-part, and this is a 4-part session.
There was 4 sessions within the week to try to save Nidria and to flush out so session 9 was session 9 part 1, 2, 3, and 4. I was there for all 4 of them.
I was only there for the last
5?
one.
I think there was 5 total.
Yeah. So in the first part was completely the interrogation of Ronan in the basement. And Ronan had to either tell half-truths because it could tell the fangs could tell lies, or he had to tell full truths because otherwise he would freaking die. And he ends up meeting the Starosta. He ends up convincing them that Nidria is the hope to end the war because that's what they want to do. He brings up the house. The Starosta is just like, I just want a house for the family, but if you can pay me the money for it, like, yeah, no problem. He's actually not a bad guy. Like, we all went into this room and asked if he was an asshole or not. We just figured he was an asshole, and it turns out he really wasn't. So Ronan, by some miracle, makes it out. First thing he does is he heads out to the tavern to find D. and he finds Dee, and Dee and Ronan plan probably the most tactical fucking possible bullshit that they've ever tag teamed planned ever. Like we literally mapped out the town square, where the towers were, vantage points, where the that's it. That's what Dee's holding up right now. What Jackal's holding up is the planning sheet for Nidra's rescue, and like how we were going to do it. We planned what was going to go first, second, third, fourth, because it was paramount that we rescue her. And we had a brief moment. We were told that someone from the inside was going to find us, or find Ronan, and let Ronan know what can be done. So they planned this out, and then not only was that like a height of bullshit in its own, like that's some fuckery because there was some hardcore planning, but it only got more fuckerious after because we decided that we needed materials, we needed equipment.
Yeah.
So so Ronan decides to go to the store and do some shopping. Ronan's a rogue, so Ronan, of course, is going to try to swindle his way and get some free stuff. So he finds all these healing potions and all these different gloves and everything like that. And so he tries to barter and be like, "We're going to go end the war in Jorha." So they're actually giving discounts, major discounts to war efforts, and he used his illusory script as an official document, saying that this was a decree from royalty, and that's what we were supposed to be given as part of every shop owner. Shop owner rolled pretty decent perception, so they didn't quite full like not believe, but they had some doubt. And then Dralisar walks in, and Ronan's able to I think it was a note. He passed a note to Dralisar saying, "Hey." First he's like, "Hey, he can tell you. He's one of the people that got the notice too." And so Belisar gets a note from Ronan, figures out what the ploy is, and decides to tell them that it's true. So now the shop owner believes them, and we have this whole thing going on where we end up distracting them enough where.
No, I said I was going to pay for your stuff because they kept kicking you out of the shop.
Yeah, because Ronan kept on trying to steal it. Even though Ronan has a really high sleight of hand, he kept on getting caught. I was rolling.
So you kept getting caught trying to steal from the shop, and they kicked you out. And then I was like, all right. I'm going to pay for his stuff. Or I'm going to pay for these at this amount, this cost, whatever. And literally, as he was distracted, swiped everything from the counter into the bag of holding and fucked off without them ever realizing. We got so much.
No, they realized.
Well, whether they realized or not, we got away. So
I think we got thousands of gold.
Thousands of gold.
You guys got almost 2,000 gold worth of items.
We ended up getting
goggles, gloves,
4 potions of superior healing.
Yeah.
We got quick boots. We ended up getting perception goggles, stability gloves, and daggers that come back to you.
Yeah.
So we were equipped for this friggin' thing way more than we should have been. But then again, it was a miracle shot. Like, it was a shot in the dark, whether we were going to rescue Nidra the next day or not. And so we go back. We're inspecting everything.
We got 6 greater healing potions.
We did. Because I just used one of the last ones. You still have one.
I still have 2.
Yeah. So we ended up going back and inspecting everything. Ronan ends up trying to practice with stuff, but I tried to put on the quick boots, and we had
sure did, and then eyes popped out.
Fucking eyes popped out. Yeah.
Yeah, it's always the fucking eyes.
So this is when we realized that our DM has an obsession with mimics, because in the bag of holding, anything's possible to be pulled out. So Jackal actually pulled out mimics that were pretending to be the quick boots, and we fucking died. We woke up
And
then
we died.
yeah, we legit died. We didn't have a fighting fucking chance in hell. We died.
Okay, to be fair, I was pretty spiteful after that.
You were
Yeah.
really spiteful after that. You were like, God damn it, they got away with so much shit.
We did. Like, we seriously took that thing for broke. And we headed to the Times Square the next day. I think this was session number 5, which we were reunited with Mercury and another character.
That was session.
I think that's session 8.
No, that was.
No, I mean session 9-5.
Yeah, that.
Oh, 9-5, yeah.
This was like the final part where you guys were actually. This is when we held the actual session. You guys all got together to start to pull this shit off to save Nidria.
Yeah. So,
By the way, how we did this is beyond me. I have no idea how we pulled this off.
You guys just rolled really fucking good. That's what it was.
we did. No, we rolled like fucking bandits, man.
I rolled a nat 20 with that arrow.
Like, so, all right. This is the complexity of the plan. The plan was, and Mercury tried to sway us from it, and Mercury had a good plan. Mercury's plan was to go inside the gate as a guard. Inside the prison as a guard, and just break Nidra out. But
No, go in as priests. Because priests were allowed to go in.
You guys did do that.
We did do that. But it was too late.
Yeah, Nidra was already on the way out. So the original plan, which ended up coming into play, was that Ronan was going, before everyone got there, Ronan was going to sneak behind the gallows and underneath the gallows. And Ronan was going to wait for Nidria. D was going to shoot an arrow at the rope at the point in which Nidra is being hanged and cast Minor Illusion, so that way it looks like Nidra is still there, which would keep Nidra in view for a minute, which would get Ronan out, and Ronan had to get out and away. And then there would be a distraction in the crowd, which helped Ronan get away. So Nidra is brought out to the gallows, put up the noose around her neck, and then Ronan, prior to this, meets with the guard, who ends up giving him a handshake. And with a handshake, he gets this like glowing symbol on his hand, which when he touches it, actually makes him invisible. So he ends up sneaking underneath the gallows, invisible. When the hanging's going on, it actually all fucking worked. Like
to a T.
To a fucking T. So, like, Nidria, the thing drops, Jackal's character pulls out the friggin' bow, shoots the thing, and casts Minor Illusion with his other hand, and friggin' Nidria is there. And Nidria actually falls through the gallows. Ronan catches her, puts her underneath his dress, and then goes and runs while his sack is just smacking her in the face. And he runs back to the tavern. And he's like, sorry, you're going to have to stick with it. And, like, there's a distraction that happens with Mercury and the other dude where they're like, when the illusion goes away,
This is when Crunch showed up.
No, not yet.
This is like right before Crunch shows up.
Yeah. So they start a riot in the crowd, so everyone's distracting the crowd because Nidria disappears, and they're like, wow, we should get her, blah, 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 blah. And then they start a fight. Like, they literally start throwing fists, and they inspire this huge riot. We get back to the tavern. Nidria is safe, but Nidria is pissed because Nidria has only wanted to stop the war and has now almost been put to death for it.
And probably has only made things worse.
So, Nidria, take it away.
So, we get back to the tavern, and...
This is session 10, by the way.
Yeah, this is session 10. And we get back to the tavern. Nidra is like pissed. She's frustrated. She literally was expecting to go to the dash, talk to the right people, get the proper connections as time went on, and eventually talk to the people who are in charge of the entire kingdom. Be like, listen, I want to share information. I want to be friends. I want this war to fucking end. Why can't we live peacefully together? And so she attacks Ronan out of frustration.
And Ronan gives her a warning. He's like, "Do you really want to do this? Do you? I kill people for a living. Do you want to do this?" And
she doesn't care. She does not care.
Speaking of which, I think it's time we introduce someone.
Not yet. Almost.
Just real close to that bracket.
So Ronan does attack Nidra, and I remember the party's reaction because at this time we were downstairs in the game room. This is before it went streaming, and we were all sitting around the table, and everyone was just like, "Oh shit, we knew this was gonna come. This is really fucking happening. This is really happening." And Ronan slams Nidra up against the wall and takes his sword out and shoves it right into her gut. And he's not trying to kill her; he's just trying to maim her. But he rolls pretty good, and she's unconscious. And at that point, we meet our new character. So this is when Zal, aka Crunch, came to the stream. Zal, are you there? Yes.
Hey, what's happening, guys?
So tell us a little bit about this creature that entered our wonderful world.
So, before joining in on Sean's session, I was trying to decide what character to go, and I usually go as an elf. That's like my main pick, and I don't know why, but I guess it's mostly because of the night vision part. So I'm like, I want to do something different this time. I was thinking of going with a tiefling, but at the time I didn't know how many tieflings we had as well. But then I came across Warforge, and I'm like, wait, we could have freaking robots in this campaign? So that's when I chose Crunch, and I had no idea for his backstory at the time, so as the campaign went on, I was trying to think of ideas for him. But as for his introduction, he's mostly been kept hidden away, quote unquote, and as all of a sudden when he gets summoned by what was the person's name again?
I only bring him out for the proper occasions.
Yeah. So as soon as he shows up, just going through the doors, he's like, "All right, what the hell's going on?" And then all of a sudden sees this ragtag team, and they're like, "All right, what the hell am I doing with these people?"
So your introduction was actually kind of badass, but really fucked up.
Because it was when I was building Crunch, learning about it is the calamity time. I didn't even know about that info when I made him. I wanted to make him like, he's very serious. So with new people, he knows he has little to no care to them, and he will just take shit seriously until something happens to where either like someone saves him or does something in a fight that where he gains interest to them and considers them as an ally or friend. So he's all serious about it, and I even had it where I want to roll intimidation on certain things, because that's the one thing I want to do is just roll intimidation because he's a serious dude. But that went away shortly after, later on in the sessions.
So when Crunch first showed up, Nidria was pinned against the wall. And Crunch, I believe, came in, and one of the first things that Crunch did was kick Nidria in the friggin' ribs.
That's right. That's the one thing I'll never forget.
Actually, there was something before that.
What?
There was something that happened before that, though.
So what happened before that was Nidria was actually resuscitated before that. And then Nidria went on and pissed off Victor.
Yeah, he pissed off Victor, and fucking Victor shot her.
I only had 10 hit points because he shot me with a healing bullet like it was fucking Overwatch.
And
Well,
then he quickly took the healing away.
Yep. Point blank.
I never wanted to be part of the fucking black market.
No,
And y'all are shady motherfuckers.
So Nidria spoke wrong to the wrong guy who shot the fuck out of her because he's a gunslinger, and she died, and that ensued. What?
Well, she was unconscious, and then Crunch was like, "All right, I gotta wake this fucker up." So, yeah, I was gonna do like a light kick, but I rolled too damn good to where
you rolled an nat 20.
broke her fucking ribs. I broke her fucking ribs with a nat 20.
And then Nidria was no longer living. That was the first death of Nidria.
Yep.
Yeah, Nidria being upset and pissed off and dead. And Ronan ended up in a battle for Nidria's life because Ronan didn't want Nidria to die. There's a couple different reasons why Ronan didn't want Nidria to die. One of them is, Ronan's backstory is that he comes from a different world. And he's watched his world get destroyed. There was also a one-shot in which we played, and Ronan, having jumped from different worlds and everything, is a fourth wall kind of breaking character, remembers things that other people don't remember. So it's the same party in a one-shot, and in that one-shot, Nidria saved Ronan's life whenever the rest of the party just fucking left Ronan to die. And Ronan remembers that, so it brought Ronan forward with wanting to save Nidria and believing in Nidria. So Nidria, why don't you tell us the inside of that experience? That was something.
If I remember correctly, Victor was like, "All right, let's bring the soul back," and Nidria was given a choice, quote unquote, of either returning to her body or returning to wherever she was going to go. And initially, Nidria's like, "I'm frustrated, I'm mad, I have fucked everything up, there's no point." But after a long amount of thinking, a divine visitation from her deity.
Hello, love.
Yes. Goddess Ayun. Ayun is best goddess.
Who said that she's not done yet?
Yeah. And that made Nidria think. And she thought for a while, as everyone's just like, "You are like the only person who I actually care about out of all these people." Which to Nidria seemed a little difficult at the time to accept, having believed that the reason for her death was both Ronan and Victor. So she eventually relents, and when she wakes up, it's not where she. It was where it was in a side room down some stairs in an infirmary. And when she woke up, she felt she had some extra weight to her. And she just, I believe she was nude.
No,
So
she had a gown on.
No, she had a gown. So she felt some extra weight, and so she feels around to like make sure everything's in its proper place, and she cups low hanging.
So there was a choice when she was brought back that was on the party, and the party was asked by Victor if we wanted to bring her back into her own body, or a different body, or a replica body. And so Ronan came up with the smart idea of bringing her back in something like her own body, but with balls, because she grew some balls when she decided to friggin' and it came true. The wish was granted, and she at that point she became Nutria.
I leveled up at the end of this session as well. I took that down as notes. Don't know why I thought it was important.
Nutria?
Everyone leveled up.
Yeah, so Nidra was brought back to life, which is funny because I didn't know the inner workings of Nidra's mind at that point in time, blaming Ronan until just now. But Ronan definitely revealed some information that he had not previously revealed to anyone, which was like in the argument for life. Ronan was talking to a floating sphere of like spirit, and he was like, when she was like, I failed, I'm a failure, and I was like, I blew up a whole fucking world. So just suck it up and carry forward because there's hope. And like, I don't know if that's the thing that sold Nidra. No clue, but I know that Nidra, being in knowledge horror, was hungry for that knowledge.
Yeah.
And came back as Nutria. So we began our journey with Crunch and the rest of the party. Mercury once again disappeared. This is one of the beginnings of all the characters that were coming and disappearing. Nessa was gone. What was his name? Zoog?
Something.
Smoog was gone. He left while we were going to Zadash, I believe. He went off to be a chef.
Though one thing for sure is that when we started, we definitely came across some one things, and I wasn't expecting this for one thing after we, as a group, started going together for adventure, because something happened as soon as we left that tavern.
It did. So on session, I think it was 11. Session 11.
Session 11 is when the stream started.
Yeah, so we were. So this was
this
10.
is all still happening at session 10.
Yeah. So session 10, we left the tavern, and what happened, Crunch? What happened when we left that tavern on that beautiful day? And you were supposed to be a protector and make sure that we don't be stupid.
So, little knowledge about Crunch, since he's been active only for for current 30 years of being reactivated. He's still trying to relearn most of things, or probably learn anything new, except for just coming across a child that had crazy amount of strength. Next thing we know is is Nadria and Ronan and whoever else running away as this child is next to Crunch, won a handshake, and next thing I know, as soon as Crunch accepts the handshake, eyes appeared.
Eyes fucking popped out again.
And then there was like 20 of them, and then Crunch is like, I fucking hate my life. And then all of a sudden, it's just, next scene, you see Nidria and Ronan catching their breath as they ran away, like probably 5 to 10 blocks away.
Using the apples quick.
And like Dralis are still hauling ass away.
Oh yeah,
I was running before anybody else started running.
Yeah, it wasn't.
He knew exactly what it was before any of us did.
It's because Crunch had no idea about their encounters with mimics, and to be honest, I had no idea about mimics. To be precise, the only thing I know is a fucking chest with eyes, and I didn't know it'd take on multiple forms. To be honest, so
and then the next thing the party knows
is a robot running towards them, saying hello.
Hello.
And it wasn't until Daedria fired a fireball. Was it Daedria firing a fireball?
It was Firebolt or Ray of Frost, one of the two iconic characters.
And all of a sudden it's like, Crunch, you take one death fail. I'm like, you bitch. But I guess that part of it was karma for kicking him in the ribs.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did actually escape the mimic hellhole that was actually an illusion created by Donnelly.
yes, because I'm also a spiteful bastard.
So then we decided to carry forward. Now, this is where our stream starts, and because of all the characters that we lost and not knowing if we had enough people for a stream, we actually invited 2 new party members to the stream. Being
very detrimental.
Being my cousin and being his friend. So it was Arote and Asher, which was
it was
man and a birdman from the mountains. And we met them at a farm stand, and Ronan turned around and called them furries, and then they joined our party.
Strange how that works, isn't it?
yeah.
While he was hitting on a chick that was there named Sabrina. And that's when the famous line, so when he asked her what she had at the stand, she was like zucchinis and blah blah blah, and he was like, so boring. What's your backstory?
Yeah.
I love what
Ronan
just
was like,
happened with Jackal mouth flipping it as you were saying it. It was amazing.
So, I think before we end up going full on to the shit show that ended up almost ending the campaign, what was everyone's thoughts of how the campaign was going thus far? Like, what was the inner workings of your brain? Like, did you feel like you were at a point where we weren't going to see the campaign anymore once Nidra was being hanged? Did you think that it was over once Nidra died? What were your thoughts?
Who is this question aimed at?
Everyone.
I guess to all of us.
Well, for me, I was a nervous wreck.
Well, I know.
Because it's like, okay, if saving Nidria fails, it is literally TPK Central.
Yeah.
So,
Jackal, where were you at? What did you think?
I was pretty much on the fence there. The party by this point was like, all right, we're gonna fight shit, and then Nidri's gonna try to kill us, and then we're gonna fight some shit, and then Nidri's gonna try to kill us, and then we're gonna blow some shit up and steal some shit, and then Nidri's gonna try to kill us. So, I was definitely on the fence for sure.
How about the direction to Sokoku? What was on your brain? Because that was a heavy fucking moment for your character.
So the whole moment of Nidra dying in that moment, I was absolutely 100% okay with happening. Like, I spent the entire week not thinking of how I can escape. I spent like maybe 2 hours on that. Like, she has an ability where she can look at an object and make it 2 times heavier, 2 times lighter. So,
oh yeah, I forgot about that one spell.
It's not a spell; it's an ability.
Or ability, yeah.
I was like, all right, well, maybe I can make myself half as light, so that way I can pretend to die because I wouldn't be choked, or I wouldn't have my neck snapped if I made myself half my own weight. Or I could, make the lever that the guards have twice as heavy so they can't move it. Or something with the trapdoor being half as light, or something so that way something will screw up and I don't die. But in the end, I was just like, I can't do anything about this. Everyone else is obviously going to do what they can, but I'm not expecting things to work. So I had my last word. I was thinking of the last words and the lasting impression that Nidria could have.
I remember during that you were pretty wrecked. Like you were like, I don't know what to do. I don't want it. You went through a grieving period where you were certain Nidra was gonna die, and you didn't know how the hell you were gonna save her. Yeah. And you're like, shit, Nidra's gonna die. And in the meanwhile, Jackal and I were like, we can't tell you our plan, but we got a plan. It's a good plan.
I just constantly kept thinking, she's gonna die. There's no real way to save her permanently, because if she's probably going to be left hanging there for a day or so, and she can't do that. She'd have to constantly make yourself half as light every
Wait,
minute.
so did you think that the party wasn't going to try to save you?
Oh no, I knew that the party was going to try and save me. It's that I had a very low, I had very low hopes.
Pretty much, yeah. You were trying to make a backup plan in case Plan A didn't work for you.
Yeah, if them saving me didn't work, I'd have a lasting impression of some kind of I came here for peace, not war. All I wanted to do was stop the war peacefully without any more bloodshed. And then everything happened.
So, Crunch, how was it playing with the party for the first time? What was your first impressions of this crew of people? Not only the crew of people, but the players in general that you ended up joining with.
At first I was like, well, shit, this is going to be an interesting group because out of the whole time, the time that I played D&D, I played it for about, I think, 5+ years. All of it's been serious. And so this is kind of like the one group where we're serious, but at the time we're fucking around. So, it's kind of a change for me.
I also
But to
spent
answer
3
that-
years trying to get him to join a campaign. Finally got him to join.
Okay, I'm sorry for that. But really, this is kind of like a change to where I'm like, this is fucking great. Group-wise, we're fucking around here. Makes it great. We're also serious at times. Still fucking great. But parts of it were
like a long-term campaign too.
Yeah, and to be honest, this is the second time I've had a long-term campaign run. Because
A lot of Jackal's over here, and he's like, "Yeah, it's 16 months." All right.
yeah, because
Actually,
back in high school when Dungeons and Dragons got introduced to me, James told me about this one group, and it was at the card shop in your guys' area.
This was the old game shop.
Yeah, the old game card shop. We had about 10 people, I think, and that was the biggest group we've ever played.
that was actually the first time I played D&D was with that same group.
Yeah. So, as this being the second time being in a long session campaign, I'm happy to actually play something like this because we got a good, interesting story going on. Now for Crunchwise, for his death experience, first time Mimic, I'm like, all right, well, 5 minutes into the session, I'm already gonna start. Let me go ahead and pull up my phone again, start making a new character. I'm gonna make that elf that I wanted.
And then I see you starting to do this. I'm like, put your phone down.
Yeah, no. Sean even knew. I'm looking at the next character, and he's like, "Put your fucking phone down." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." I'm like, "Fine." So I put my phone away.
It's a DM's wrath. It's only DM's
But
wrath.
when we got to that, and in the future session for that interdimensional travel, when Crunch
Hey, you're
couldn't be
skipping,
saved.
you're skipping ahead.
Okay, fine, but I want to experience this death at least.
But
But-
with speaking of this being a long-term game, we're actually getting close to a full year.
We are. That's fucking nuts.
Full year for you guys. I was
Just
start of
for
fall,
the
I think.
campaign in total is we're getting close to our first year, and it's amazing.
Yeah, it'll be a full year for me once it reaches fall again.
So Jacob,
So
what
I
are you
think
gonna
that's when I started.
So we're all forgetting about the fact that even before Crunch was introduced, he was already making death saves.
Wait, was he?
Yeah,
I was making death saves.
yeah, you were making. It was a joke, but I remember
Oh,
it
right,
clearly.
right.
Yeah, he
Oh yeah, the
remembered.
fucking mimic.
No,
I was still
before
making the
that.
death saves, weren't I?
Before we started the session, I decided to fuck around with you, and I'm like, hey, start rolling death saves. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Yeah,
That's
for
right.
those of you that have actually watched the stream, it is common knowledge that almost every turn, our overpowered DM decides to put us close to death or almost take our lives.
I don't think there has been a combat session where not one of us has fallen.
Right.
Right? No,
Day one.
The only
Absolutely not
combat.
My fault, you guys make stupid calls.
The only one that I know is in the future sessions, but that's only one with another character in Crunch. But
Even
literally all of our combat sessions, we've had at least one person fall.
Speaking of stupid calls, shortly after we met Arote and Asher, we discovered that there was some kind of commotion afoot in the town that we're in, and decided to try to find Sabrina. Where we found that there was a no, was this when we fought the Balrog?
No,
The-
this stuff's a little bit before that.
Okay.
So so basically what happens? You guys met Asher and Rote. You guys explored around the town of Miela at this point, starting to get a job, and you guys took the job to help with the stolen crystal pain, like glass pane of the idolization of Bahamut, which originally in my notes was the Raven Queen, but then I said Bahamut live on stream. Like, fuck, I can't fix that.
Which, by the way, was the moment that Arote and Asher discovered that Bahamut is Ronan's trigger word, and in that session,
Crunch as well.
Yeah, and in that session, Ronan dry heaved at least like 40 times to a point where Jacob, as an actual person, was like, "I think he's actually gonna throw up."
Yeah. Yeah. It was wonderful because we just kept going on as like the joke, and we're just like, dude, we're fucking dying here.
But Shade, continue.
And so you guys went on and did that, and that's when Asher and Arote started doing their own thing, pushing their own agenda, and basically making you guys follow along with it.
So we found an overturned cart that was like a whole bunch of squashed zucchinis. Ronan, being Ronan, decided to taste a squashed zucchini and was like, "I smell a mystery afoot," and dubbed everyone the Mystery Squad and was like, "Let's go get it, Mystery Squad." And that kind of stuck still to this day. So we go out and Arote and Asher peer ahead. Arote flies over and sees all these people and just assumes that they're bandits. So they start.
He even took a shot, didn't he? Like
did.
Fired an arrow
Yeah,
at
he
them.
did. So Asher, who has like this armor in this thing where he just throws it up and it goes around him, he gets armored, and then we all rush in, because now a battle has begun and we're gonna have our comrades' backs. So we're fighting, and Nidria.
So Nidra
given the page.
immediately is in the fight, and he's like, "Something's not right. Why are we fighting? We don't have any information on these people. Why are we doing this?" But I guess I have to. I guess I have to protect the party. So she starts to throw some spells, and because she's a magic user, she can't really pull her punches. And she up until now, she's had this very big thing of not killing sentient life, and it was so indicative of her character that when previously, a couple sessions prior, when the party was attacked by bandits, she was the one that convinced the entire party to let them go.
Ronan was actually hell bent on getting scalps and everything because they did shoot an arrow at him and they did wound him. So he went sadistic. That was when I think the party discovered that Ronan was super sadistic because he wanted to collect body parts and shit.
Yeah.
And Nidra stopped Ronan from doing so. So during this point, Ronan's actually acting like a rogue. He's sticking to the shadows. He casts grease, which he calls butter, and he makes everyone go and slip. He casts blind, and he blinds everyone, and he's just like making everyone in vulnerable positions. Nidria, on the other hand, decides to cast some spells and ends up doing some harsh shit.
Yeah. So, for those of you who don't know, Graviturgy Wizards from Explorer's Guide to Wildmount have a spell called Magnify Gravity. And the description of the spell says like gravity just gets it gets harder to move, and people might feel pain because of that extra gravity. Nidria casts a spell and kills someone, and it is described like squishing a can underneath your foot. And that
because didn't you roll like nat 20 close to it?
So it's not a nat 20 with Magnify Gravity. With Magnify Gravity, it's a Constitution save, and they rolled poorly. I rolled really well, and one of the people who was caught up in that area of effect just went squish like an aluminum can.
Blood, guts everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was an instant for you.
Yeah, like
that caused Nidria to be like, "Oh fuck!"
Ronan saw that from the cornfield, I believe, and was just like, "Don't worry, it gets better. The next one's going to be easier." And because he sees her breaking down, and then she casts another spell.
Yes, she casts Witch Bolt at someone else, and she kind of beats them down a little bit, and then stops. And throughout this entire combat, after that first kill of hers, she's starting to like break down. She's making wisdom saves every time she sees someone die in front of her. And the nail in the coffin was there's a guy that came up right up to her, and I believe she got hit a couple times by him, and she just poison sprays him. And she rolls max damage, if I remember.
Yeah, you overkilled it, I think.
Annihilated the fuck out of that.
And before the wisdom save is rolled, it's just described as he goes down choking and gagging on poison. We roll the wisdom save. It's the critical.
You rolled a nat 1, I think, on that one.
Yeah, it's a critical failure. And so Sean goes back and describes how like the fear, the gagging, the choking, the begging for it to stop just shuts down Nidria, and she falls to her knees. And she's just out of it. She loses her next turn. And next round goes by, everything's totally fine. Everyone's kicking ass except for Nidria.
And Crunch. Crunch was getting ganged up on.
Oh yeah, was getting fucked.
Well, this is also what happens when you guys go into a combat and don't actually take the time to see how many people there are.
It's not
nor investigate who we're dealing with.
Yeah, so like the party ended up dealing with 14 enemies.
I thought it was 12.
14.
Yeah, so Ronan observes all this in like almost slow motion, like the breakdown of Nidria, and he's like trying to shout to her, but then things happened.
Yeah. So the leader of everyone comes up to Nidria and just says, "This is for killing my family," and just right through the heart of Nidria. Just stab, pull, and she just falls, and that just causes Ronan to snap.
Which, I mean, this was probably one of the cruxes of emotion in the entirety of the game. I mean, aside from we forgot to tell about the time that Ronan was tripping. So
Yes.
we were on a carriage, and Ronan had eaten some acid and started having vivid flashbacks of like his old crew, because Ronan has carried from different campaigns, and like the world that he used to belong to, and confused the shit out of Nidra. And Nidra's like, what the fuck? And Ronan's like crying. And he's like, you'll never be Grundle. You'll never be Grundle. She's like, what?
We even agreed to like throw out any remaining drugs that he had, but that was a failure. For the aftermath of throwing those out.
But like, this was ended up being one of the heights of emotional turbulence there, because Nidra straight up died. Ronan lost his shit because Ronan had just saved her like twice. He saved her from the gallows. He saved her from her soul drifting off after Victor killed her. After Crunch killed her. One of them killed her.
One of us killed her. But yeah. For that whole battle, it was just like, oh shit.
I think that was one of the times where the crew has seen Ronan actually lose his shit and go fucking buttfuck crazy. Like he attacked. I rolled crits on all the attacks. I slaughtered the people that killed Nidria, and the last dude that I slaughtered, I just kept on beating until he was a pulp, and like his blood was like all over me, and like Ronan was just like crying and smashing the fuck out of it, which was a really intense scene. And then we found out that we slaughtered a family. They weren't bandits. We slaughtered a family. And so we find out. And now I'm just saying, as me and Sean, we find out that Asher and Rote aren't going to be streaming with us anymore after 2 sessions. They decided to bounce. So they made this huge decision, and we are suffering from the effects of that huge decision, and then they disappear. And they leave us in this situation. And I can tell you that my mind, like as a player and as Ronan, was completely screwed. Like completely screwed. There was a dead Nidra. There was like a battle that he knows shouldn't have happened, but had to happen because now they're attacking back. But where were your minds at? Like, what, as players, what did that do to you? I know that emotionally fucked me. And where were you as a DM?
Where I was as a DM, I was with the entire situation of the combat. I even openly stated, like, you guys could have avoided this. Like, none of this combat could have happened if you guys actually were smart about it.
Yeah.
Well, what was in your head like the whole time? Like, oh fuck, why'd you have to do that?
Okay, in my head, I'm like, okay, it's either some of you are dying or all of you are dying. I don't know which is gonna happen first.
Wasn't it
EBK.
I was trying to think.
For once, it wasn't caused by Nidria. Surprise.
And Jackal, were you there for that one?
He was not.
No.
Because this happened during.
Because I was telling you
Yeah.
the Nidra death.
This happened while he was gone for like 4 to 5 weeks.
That's right.
Yeah, he had in game we let's be like, you know, he had a side adventure or something. But like it was just us 4, I believe, right? When we took part that fight, because really when Harmonious found what he thought were bandits, we were just like, all right, so we found bandits, and they're probably going after the girl that we're trying to find.
The killing of the bandit in the family happened before, like the session before Harmonious joined.
So, Zell, this was like your 3rd session, and you've already experienced mimics. You've now experienced a slaughter of a family. Like, where were you? Do you remember? Like,
so the whole battle, before the battle took place, like, Crunch, I thought to myself, I'm like, all right, well, maybe if we could split off like a 2-and-2 thing, we could take care of like more ground cover than just being in a single group. but it wasn't gonna be the case since I had Crunch go off to the right to fight off one group. I thought maybe Nidria would probably stick back and fire off spells from afar to help cover Crunch. Crunch was getting his ass kicked, to be honest. I know Asher, I believe it was able to heal me up when some of them started to run away because they knew they were gonna get into a losing battle. Because I think Crunch got knocked down, but then he got back up after being healed.
Where were you as a player? Did you whip out your phone again and you're like, oh shit, fuck?
That's when I transferred my shit to online. I had everything on paper. I still had the paper, but I also had it on my phone to make sure that anything that I needed, importantly, was there on phone and I could read a description. Honestly, Crunch got his ass kicked. He had like sparks showing from him, and there was like some bent up metal from his armor plating.
So
I was like, fuck! I can't believe this happened. And then, we thought we took care of all of them, but that was the following session.
Yeah, there's actually at the end of that combat session, one of them ran away. So Rote and Asher gave chase.
Two of them.
Gave chase. Now, as a whole, that session I know hit all of us. Like, actually emotionally hit all of us in real life. Because I remember that night, we had a ceremonious burning of Nidra's player sheet. It's in Shade's room.
Yeah.
So while he gets that, tell us what was that like for you? Because that was like.
So, I before this, I've expressed to you and Sean like my absolute disdain for the events that had happened, and how like I found it kind of.
There it is.
Sorry, you can't see the name, but it's there.
This is all that remains of Nidra's character sheet.
Just the name.
Just the name.
I'm surprised how well that turned out for a burning. Leaving the name.
It was
the name.
Yeah.
It was a
Crazy.
really windy day.
And we didn't even like plan that. We were gonna burn everything but the name. That was literally what was left.
We were gonna burn everything, and then it stopped at the name. I'm like, okay, I guess we're keeping the name. But
there's that grave.
Yeah, for me as a player, I had expressed my disdain before now, and it kind of marked a kind of decline in enjoying the campaign, because it's like if they're gonna keep doing things like that, then things are just gonna get worse for us, because we're gonna get into fights we don't need to get into. And so I kind of when I made my next character, Initish, she didn't really have anything planned plot wise like Nidra did. It was more just kind of I'm here to just kind of hunt the biggest fish that I can find, and kind of prove my worth that I am in fact the biggest fish. But we'll get to Initish later.
Yeah, that's when Initish showed up.
But,
Actually,
sorry.
This is around the time we had two characters show up.
Yeah. So that brings me to the introduction of these two new characters, because now we are at the halfway point. That was pre-stream, so all the things that you guys missed, catching you up on the story. And now we had 2 episodes from the stream, and we're gonna bring in our 2 new characters that have been with us. Harmonious has been with us. Harmonious is played by Josh. Josh, you there?
there he is.
There he is.
I'm loading up, and he's here.
Josh is our tiefling.
How's it going?
Wasabi. And just recently, we were introduced to our hunter, who Ronan refers to as number 10, but his real name is Andor, and played by Landon. Landon, you there? Yes.
Yes, I am.
Reveal thyself, heathen.
Full circle. So, so for those of you, this is a really interesting part here because now all of you guys are filled in on the story that happened before you, and like what led up to at least Harmonious coming in, how that happened, and like. So I got one question for Jackal because I had asked. I remember asking Jackal. I was like, "Hey," well, I told him Nidra died. What was what were your thoughts, dude, on that when you found out?
I mean, I kind of knew it was coming. And I'm really shocked that it didn't happen sooner than it did. With like all the mishaps and all the crap that character would like get into, just like the personality of the character, I think, is also a lot of fun to play with because I know that we're going to be in deep shit like every single time we try to do something. So it definitely was an interesting character to play with, but I kind of had like a sigh of relief for the party. Like, Nidria is now dead, and we don't have to deal with that anymore. Although, I don't know. It added an interesting, like, we're kind of fucked on every roll aspect to the game, with the character being the way that she was. So, I don't know. I enjoyed it, but was also severely frustrated by it at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, like in the game, Nidra was Ronan's best friend, and so Ronan obviously took it very, very difficult, and like that was a hit, but also very fun dynamic. Like you gave such a great character. Like that character was so meaty and so juicy, but it was so riddled with flaws that she couldn't shut up when she needed to shut up, and like she was just so almost naive, like running full on into things, but also taking an oath of peace, so like not trying to kill, only trying to like maim or teach a lesson, which was also very interesting. Though it fucked over the party because the party's like, we need these people dead, and you're like,
so real quick for going back to that battle for the farm, because you did ask me what Crunch felt. I honestly didn't fully answer that. He was like upset that we lost someone and two others just chased that one other. So he's all frustrated a bit, because he felt like maybe this really should have been avoided until we investigated further inside the barn where they were living at, I think.
Yeah, it was a fairly decent sized farm where all that was left was another Victor de Diablo, and he's like, please don't kill me, you just slaughtered my family.
And he even attacked to where once Crunch opened the door, he was on 3 hit points after that. Like it even left someone opening in the chest plate area. So while Ronan was investigating, I think, because you were investigating it for any secrets and such to make sure that like what we were doing is the true cause of it.
Yeah.
Of what we were investigating. He's also listening to a conversation that Crunch and this victim was having. Like, what the hell are you talking about? We're trying to find Sabrina, and he's like, what? It's like, yeah, you took her, didn't you? And it wasn't until then, it's like, no, that also, like, was a cousin or a sister or something?
That was his daughter.
Yeah, daughter. And then we're just like, Sabrina's your daughter. We're just like, fuck.
and that's also like one of the more powerful moments of like character development came too.
Oh yeah,
because Crunch just looked at Ronan, and he was like, "Do we tell anyone?"
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
after
we're just
the
like,
vlog.
do we do anything? Like,
Yeah, that
what
was
the
then
fuck?
too.
And now, because now he had even more weight on him of, like, we just murdered innocent.
Yeah, and Ronan was just like,
We've murdered an actual true family.
yeah, and prior to that, we had discovered that Stroska was kind of a twisted dude. He had a wooden child in a chest. Nidra and Ronan discovered that there was a dodecahedron missing, and like there was a whole another mystery to that. So we were on the quest to find another character because Shade.
It's just Ronan and Crunch.
Yeah, it was just literally Ronan and Crunch because at the time D was off doing D's own side quest because in real life, Jekyll was busy with some things, and yeah, it was just Ronan and Crunch, and so the plan ahead that Sean had was like once again in his infinite turmoil of being a DM, he found himself kind of fucked, and he was a nervous wreck.
Yeah.
You know, and we were trying to find.
What made that worse was that I woke up to Asher and Orochi leaving the campaign. Like that's what I woke up to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
and
so I wake up to that. I'm like,
well, fuck.
Well, fuck.
and like I even told I walked out into the living room at that time, and Miller's awake, and I'm just like a nervous wreck. I'm like, oh fuck, they just left. What do I do? What do I do? What do I do?
I think you even texted me saying like, you know, they left, and I'm like, what do you mean they left? Like and you're like, they left the campaign. I'm just like,
And
so it's only just, it's like it's now only us, you know, 3 or 2 active right now.
so this is where I would like to throw one of my own little questions out, like so that little bone. So hey Josh, remember what was your thoughts of me just coming by and being like, hey, with like the big wrecking ball going through your proverbial wall, like, hey, you want to join?
Okay. Mind you, me and Sean have actually been talking about me joining a couple weeks prior. Like 1 or 2 weeks prior. Me and Sean started easing me into it. And then it's not even 8 o'clock, it's like 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm working. I don't know when I'm gonna get off. And all of a sudden I'm like, hey, do you want to join the session? I'm like, okay, when do you want to join? I'm like, okay, when is it? It's today in 10 hours. Sean,
You're at work and you have a character to make.
I'm at work. I'm like 45 minutes from my house. I'm not even. The workday's literally just started. I have no idea when I'm gonna end. I don't even know if I'm gonna make it to the session. And I don't even know if I have a character that's like ready. So, like 30 minutes before I get off work, I'm like, okay, Sean, what level is this so that I can know if I have time to make a character? And he tells me level 3. Well, I just so happened to have a tiefling that I never used before. That was level 3. Made for a campaign that never happened. And it's a class that I've never played before.
And here we are.
So first time ever playing Paladin is on a live stream.
I did not know that. I did not know that. That was your first fucking time playing a paladin. Touche, sir. Touche.
For
You came in
3.5 years,
late.
and I've never played Paladin before.
Smitey boot you. What the fuck?
And I had no idea what a Paladin was actually capable of.
And then your first combat, you dealt the most damage in the entire campaign thus far.
Okay. And then we go into... Basically, the way I attributed it is, I'm the guy Sean calls when shit hits the fan.
Apparently.
And they transport it.
But also, this isn't the first time Sean's called me for something like this. This is just the most recent time.
Yep.
I mean, last time I was called for something like this, I played a Hexblade Warlock Changeling.
Damn.
And every time I made it to the session, it was like halfway in. And the last session we played for that campaign was against the Balgura, which we fought in the session I joined. And we were level 5 and had trouble with it.
What was your inspiration behind your rush making of the tiefling known as Harmonious?
Well, for Harmonious, he actually wasn't rushed, believe it or not. When I made him, I spent 3 days making him. I was doing a bunch of research, and I'm like, I want to make something interesting. Something I've never done before. Well, I've never played a tiefling subrace before. I've only ever played the base player book tiefling. So I decided, okay, I'll go Glacia tiefling, because I want to make a con man. I want to make a deal maker. I want to make someone who literally has treachery in his name. And then I discovered the Unearthed Arcana Oath of Treachery, and I'm like, oh my god, this is perfect. So I'm like, alright, I'm a Glacia tiefling. His patron's Glacia, and his original purpose for his original campaign was that he was supposed to be the catalyst for the shit hitting the fan. Because he was given a job by Glacia to deliver this cursed ring and pretend to be the ring bearer to fuck over this wedding.
I love it. A paladin castle crashing.
But I have disguised self, so I could be almost whatever I want to be.
Oh my god.
Yeah, you're the one of the 2 people that has that.
I have it because of my race.
Yeah.
It's not even my class that gave it to me, it's my race. I'm born with this ability.
Maybe I'm born with it.
And the entire time I'm like, the way Sean put it, the way I took it from how Sean described it to me, my entire job is to basically make sure the campaign keeps going. I see that smile, Sean.
So basically, like, me bringing you in was damage control for the 2 people leaving. Because, like, to me, you were worth 2 players.
Technically, yeah.
I mean, not even damage-wise, not even healing-wise, just character-wise. I mean, and I also have the philosophy, in the end, the DM's right. I'm not going to argue with the DM for hours on end. And me and you also have the exact same amount of D&D experience, and we've been pretty much alongside each other the entire time.
Yeah.
Because before me and you met, that was literally 4 months of us just playing D&D without knowing each other, give or take.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a part of your first campaign. I mean, I remember the shit show that was one of the fights.
Yeah. So this is what, and that one of those fights we are talking about is a boss fight where I didn't sleep for 3 days prior because I had massive insomnia.
By the way, this is also my second session.
We did learn this. I think all of us learned this, except for Landon.
Is that what you were having flashbacks about earlier?
What? Yes. I mean, Jackal's been there when Sean had very little sleep, and we're like, what the fuck? Zal's been there, I've been there, Jacob's been there, we've all been there with Sean, like, on very little sleep, and we're like, what the fuck is being released from this child over here?
Yeah, man.
Here's the day I get my first sleepless session.
Oh, also a little bit of history between me and Jacob, because Jacob was also a part of the first campaign, I was a part of the first campaign. He and the other players are the reason for my first character's death. In my 3.5 years of playing D&D, I've only had 2 characters die.
Jacob just whispered, "Shut the fuck up."
So we go back in time, and there's this big battle coming. I went to the bathroom. I went to the bathroom, and I come back and I'm told roll initiative.
Oh shit!
I'm not told that.
No.
It's probably such a relaxing trip before you knew you were gonna die.
Oh, it was great.
Now
We
Jacob's
should-
swiping, so you know.
Well, literally,
Like,
the two of them, the two other players, decided to get into the war, to get involved in the war. How many swords did Maximilian eat, Sean?
I think it was like 13.
It was at least 13.
I rolled
Not
that
to
many
mention
nat ones.
buy me again.
I was a lizard. This is one of my lizard folks. He was a fighter cleric. And
What the
he
fuck?
rolled so many nat ones, it got to a point where I was eating their swords.
Oh my god, bro.
But this is,
And
but also
I
at
also
this
haven't-
point,
You're a fucking Yoshi.
well, no, at
That's
this
what
point,
happened.
his weapons were broken.
Yeah.
Oh
Goblins broke both of my weapons, and I'm fighting with two broken short swords. I
no!
And the worst part is, I'm out of spell slots.
Oh god.
I had just used my second
Oh,
wind to
no.
make myself live a little bit longer. And if I survived maybe 3 or 4 more rounds, I would have survived combat.
But you didn't,
wanna
I'm
know-
guessing?
You want to know what happened?
Hmm.
I'm the only one that died.
What?
I'm the only one out of all of them to die.
It was a targeted death. I think that you were kicked out of the
How it
bomb.
goes.
That's-
I was the tank. The issue was I was keeping everything off of them.
And
Jacob-
I was doing
and this
Look at
shows
what
that
happened.
I don't purposely aim to kill people.
No, I was doing my job and I died doing my job.
I kind of wonder what would happen if Jacob actually played an assassin. You know, like
That's the, where the fuck is
You
he?
can go
Jacob,
back
what would
to-
happen?
he would not kill anyone,
No.
or
No, we
like
would all get caught because he would roll 1 on stealth and we'd be fucked.
Oh, okay,
he would assassinate all
honestly,
the wrong people.
alright, if I'm gonna be honest here,
What is
I'd
it?
probably kill myself.
Probably, yeah.
I turned this over
I
on
have
myself.
I have 3.5 years of spite behind this.
Oh god.
Uh,
Although,
A couple sessions later, he also decides with his character with my -1 strength modifier to pick up Noxamilion. After I've told my in character, I've told the party I can reanimate him so that he walks with us. Well, I'm not back in time for the from the break, so he decides he's gonna try to pick him up. He rips off his arm because he rolls on nat 1. I come back, and he's ripped off Noxamilion's arm. This is also during the same time me and Sean have decided that we're gonna start doing live streams. I am at day 3 of no sleep.
oh,
I am
beautiful.
completely stressed out.
Oh.
I immediately
I'm
mute
sorry.
myself and I have an emotional breakdown.
Oh no!
This shows some of the hell that I've put Josh through.
But the
That's fucking
Alright,
hilarious.
guys,
But I
But
I gotta roll, but I'll see you all on Friday.
see ya.
Later, sir.
have a good one, Jackal.
Great seeing you.
You too.
There.
yeah,
So
Although, I got.
ripped.
there's actually a
I-
little more backstory before we start. I was like, did I mute myself? But there's actually a little bit of backstory before I ever did a stream campaign to begin with. So I was running at the time 2 campaigns. That quickly turned to
Yeah.
1 campaign, and then quickly turned to 1 ended campaign. And yeah, let's see. That was an experience of what I showed I can do with emotional trauma.
Which
I
is
also-
weird. Okay, I don't know if it's an all DM thing. Maybe you can answer this, Josh. But I know Sean thrives off of bringing emotional trauma to his players. Like if he can squeeze those tears out of you like a freaking sour lemon, he freaking smiles so hard. He has a smite hard on fucking like
Oh,
10.
Okay,
Those tears,
okay.
did you?
Okay,
Skill that most good DMs share collectively as a hive mind.
it's not all DMs. I don't strive, like for example, I don't strive on breaking my characters emotionally. Sean doesn't strive for it. It's just he gets sick enjoyment from it.
Yeah,
I get-
it's like sadomasochism. You're just like, what did you feel? What did you feel?
That is 100% all DM's thing. No, it's not.
I'm getting to it. I'm getting to it. I'm getting to. It's a 3-part answer.
Yeah.
I have a buddy who strives off of pretty much putting characters through hell and player killing.
Okay.
He doesn't intentionally do it, but he strives off of it. He strives on basically making deadly encounters. Sean, you know the guy.
I'm pretty sure I
He's
do.
the one who killed my second character.
Oh yeah, the one that you're like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking kill him next time he's in one of my campaigns.
No, I'm gonna kill the. No, I'm gonna kill the players, not the DM.
Mm.
I'm talking about the DM specifically.
Oh, okay, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I mean, the guy genuinely felt bad for killing my character.
Yeah.
You genuinely felt bad for killing my character. People genuinely feel bad for killing my characters. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
But but he strives off of that. I myself, for some ungodly reason, strive off of ensuing anxiety.
I mean, you for being harmonious, you have a really good harmonious character, man.
I strive for kind of like horror setting for some ungodly reason. I've tried to break away from it, but I can't.
I have to say though, like I really enjoy what Harmonious and what you bring as Harmonious to the table. It was it's a good character. It started very noble, and well, in their own cause,
Quote unquote. Give me a shit.
But I have a huge question. Now that you guys are filled in, Landon and Josh, now you guys are filled in with what happened before. What are your thoughts on this campaign, this train wreck of the thing that you've joined?
Fucking train wreck.
Sean, how
I'm
many
gonna
train
be
wrecks
honest.
have we both been a part of together collectively?
Collectively,
I know.
I think about 8.
Enough.
Enough.
I mean, I've been a part of most of Sean's stuff.
Oh hi, my familiar's here again. I'm gonna be honest. I thought you were exaggerating when you said that 10 other people have.
Nope.
No, we were
9 other people. Have
no.
gone, but nope.
Nope.
I thought
Nope,
you
there
were
was literally- we
purely
counted.
exaggerating.
I named you number 10 because I knew that it was 10. And then after I did that, Sean and I had a meeting in the kitchen. Sean was like, I don't think there was 10, Miller. And I was like, yeah, there was. There was 10. And then we went through and we counted each character. He's like, yeah, there's 10. He's 10. And I was like, yeah, he's 10.
But
Only difference is I'm probably gonna stick around.
Well, you better you better fucking stay around.
you better.
I'm not allowed to leave.
Yeah, as soon as you join this group, you're not allowed.
Yeah,
No,
Contract.
no. With Josh, we have like a blood signed contract.
Yeah, I am literally, legally, occultally, couple other things not allowed to leave.
I think I'm not allowed to leave either because of the fact that you pretty much know about me, Sean. What the hell we've got? What the hell we've set up since like high school?
I don't know if I'm not allowed to leave.
Harmonious, what was your thoughts on all the characters that you end up meeting on your first encounter?
You know, okay, my reaction and Harmonious' reaction were literally the exact same. Just change the name of the question. But I'm going to put it this way. What the fuck did Sean get me into?
I knew it was coming.
I know. I read it in your tone. When you first.
I love it. He set it up.
But no, seriously, I was like, what the fuck did Sean get me into? Who are these people?
What are these people?
Why am I here?
Why are these people?
You're here to play D&D with me. Now shut up and enjoy the ride.
I'll do you one.
Hi, I'm a robot that's resistant against poison.
Hi, I'm a warforged. I'm immune to disease. Hi, I'm a paladin. I'm immune to disease.
Yeah.
That one was a train wreck of a different kind.
Yeah, but
So that's
also
experience.
to kind of go back to a little bit of what we were talking when we were talking about, like, oh yeah, I thrive off of breaking people. Actually, the first time I actually broke Josh, I broke myself in the process.
Oh,
But okay, mind you broke me worse because we discovered that it was possible to go full circle.
Broken harder than China
okay,
after an Emperor's death.
Guys know so in Dragon Ball Z Abridged, Vegeta gets so angry, he stops feeling emotion.
Oh yeah.
I got so sad. I
That
stopped.
you stopped feeling emotion.
Sean can attest there was no emotion in my voice, and I have never heard Sean so scared.
And also,
That is
it's
also
like,
when I introduced Sean to one of our most interesting songs.
yeah. So if you guys ever hear that song playing after a session, you know it's something. But it's just like,
Or one of us
What
will
song
be
is it?
spiteful.
yeah. But it's like I don't like that's one of the things that as a DM, like that's what lets me know that you guys are actually in, like, you guys are like that
Invested.
in deep, that invested in the campaign. That's what shows, like, yeah, I like these characters, this world, everything about it. Like, I am here, I am in it, I am the character, I'm every aspect of it. I see, I feel, I experience.
Oh. And at that point, I wasn't just one character. I was two, because this is the Sunday campaign that we're at the point where we just need to finish this. So I played through two characters. And which brings me to actually a question that I was driving, and I finally came up with a question for this thing. Only took me a week, but John, those two lizard folks, X-Death and Monty, are they references to two of my characters?
Yes.
Okay. Can I give a
Monty
little
being my favorite.
general backstory
Yeah.
on my two?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're both Way of Long Death monks. I was going through this thing at the time. I wanted to try out monk, and the only one that was interesting to me was Way of Long Death. And Monty was a mute lizard folk of the chaotic evil variety. He was my first evil character, and was a part of an evil campaign. And the only person who could communicate with him was the one who had telepathy and mind reading.
Oh my god.
And the two of us were this power duo, and this is also the campaign on the reason why we banned Mystic. John remembers those days.
Yeah.
Now, X-Death, on the other hand, was a character from that Sunday campaign. He was my main character. And he was inflicted by... Oh, what do I call it? A cognito hazard called Cthulhu. And over time, he was like, he might have been a Way of Long Death monk, but he was a good guy. Well, I mean, like, not a good guy, but he was a good guy. He was like at worst neutral. Well,
Just because you are a bad guy does not mean you are a bad guy.
I am not a bad guy. I am just a bad guy.
by the end of
I'm
the
a
campaign,
bad guy, duh.
well, by the end of the campaign, I was dealing with two different emotional issues. The second character I was playing was completely broken. No ifs, ands, or buts about that. He was emotionally broken and everything. I'm not gonna spoil anything around that, because I'm pretty sure parts of it are important for the campaign. Well, X-Death, on the other hand, had been dealing with so much psychological cognito hazard shit. He was apathetic towards life. He did not care about anything.
Yeah. So, what was when you first came into the session? What was that first experience? Where did you enter from? What what was the storyline? Do you remember your first session with us?
Me or Andor?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys. This is the session where you guys actually went into the house and talked to Victor.
Yeah.
You guys talked to him, and then you went back to the inn. I went into this thinking, okay, me and my character's job are my job, keep the campaign going. Okay, that's easy enough, I think.
No.
Harmonious's job at the time, I thought, was to keep your group alive. I have come to find out that wasn't Harmonious's job, and I have actually been yet to be told Harmonious's job. I mean, how many sessions have I been in? Enough.
Since
And I don't know.
session
9?
13.
Okay, so
Was
about
I absent that session? Session 13?
no, you were there.
12
you were there.
sessions.
You were there for most
Oh,
of
really?
almost all the sessions.
You
I-
were the one.
I
you were the
know.
one-
I was there. I was there for most sessions. I know that. I only had to skip one session because I think it was on what, Halloween. I think it was on Halloween or something.
Halloween. Well,
Yeah, Halloween
correct.
because I worked Halloween.
Don't forget your reaction to everything I can do.
Okay,
That's the very.
motherfucker,
same
Let me
session.
fucking talk. Let me fucking talk. Okay. So when he said he was playing as a paladin, I really have no knowledge of paladin. I
had
like,
no-
all right, he's a fucking tank. That's my fucking basic knowledge. He's a fucking tank. No, we go fight this fucking demon at the Celesta's
That's in
house.
the basement of the Starosta's house. That's a
Yeah, the
Starosta.
Starosta. And he fucking does how much damage again? I'm running it.
73.
I was
73
like,
and 2 attacks.
I was minding my own business before I heard 73 total. I stopped. I'm like, Mick, fucking excuse you?
Okay. Well, at this point, it's the first attack, and I'm like, okay. I rolled for this first part. I like, okay, it's an 8 plus 3, 11. Okay, I'll put that aside. That's all the piercing damage. Then I'm like, okay, now I'm gonna roll the 2d10 plus my paladin level.
And I did not pay attention to it. I was just minding my own business, waiting for my turn again. And
And then
that's when he rolled.
You're 17. I'm like, okay, yep. Next, I'll roll the fire damage, and you're like, you're gonna have that. I'm like, okay. I roll a 5, 2.5, so on and so forth. Then we get to the divine smite.
Yeah, I had no knowledge he could do all this in one single attack. I'm like,
I remember all of
shit.
our jaws dropped. All of us were like, "Yeah, what did you just do?"
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
and then
those numbers.
well, okay, and then Crunch had added it up for me, and it was 27. I'm like, that's not even adding all of it yet. You're like, oh
Yeah.
right, you have
I'm
all the
like, yeah,
calculations.
it's 27 so far, and I
48
didn't even pay attention to the other numbers.
And then I'm just like, 48 total.
It surpassed
Yeah.
when it became words when it became holy shit damage.
Yeah, yeah. So when that happened, I'm like, what the fuck did I just miss? What the fuck? Explain everything to me again, because apparently, what the fuck does a paladin do?
I remember turning to Sean and I was like, "He can do that?"
I'm like, yep.
He's like, yeah.
Oh, and
Yeah.
then I dropped the other bomb about my AC and my
First
health.
you dropped the mic, and then you dropped the bomb.
Yeah, you just took a giant bomb over your shoulder and it went BAM! Bomb has
He's
been planted.
No. He just like shoulder. He's like, okay, I'm gonna grab like what you know about paladins. I'm going to shoulder throw it onto the ground.
And show you what it could really do.
Yeah.
And
So
Titan shoulder guard.
remember, that's the first time I ever was in combat as a paladin.
yeah. So when that happened, I'm like, okay, one, you have now gained Crunch's respect. You've gained his respect. You did
You gain
This
Ronan's respect.
fucking damage. And I to myself was impressed that day because that rewrote the whole thing of what a paladin is.
We had actually Jacob's other character with us during that. Nidria's
Initish.
Initish.
Yeah.
Carried along, and it, like no one from the party accepted Initish. Initish was just like this merchant that decided to be nosy and wanted to tag along. and for some reason rubbed me the wrong way. And so like everyone called her Zucchini Nose. Like
Crunch called her a lizard.
Lichen spawn.
Yeah, and like she didn't get to do much. Ronan got to deliver the killing blow, and one of the like it was such a small moment, but to this date, it is aside from like being on the carriage with Crunch, and Crunch being like, "Are you okay? Like, what's going on?" Because Ronan first met Crunch and was like, "Oh, reflection," and then he started tripping balls, and then like that whole thing. But like there was this moment after the battle happened where everything's like settling down. The Balrog's been dead. Sabrina's
we saved Sabrina.
Yeah, and then Crunch just goes and turns to Ronan and goes, "Do we tell her?" And like,
like he didn't say any words, but he had the face expression like, "Do we say something?"
Yeah, and Ronan's just like, but that moment was just like so small but so intimate. Like, Crunch turns to Ronan and goes, "Should we tell her about this, the slaughtering of her family? That her family's dead?" And Ronan's just like,
which is kind of questioning for later on from the campaign when we got back. But continuing on,
the Paladin joins us, proves their might hardcore. But the funniest thing is that when Harmonious meets us, Ronan had picked up the body of Nidria and is carrying Nidria with him because it's a sentimental thing to him. He's held bent on delivering this body to Jorha and basically you to Ayun. So Harmonious has no clue about why he's carrying this body.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I remember what I said too. What wasn't it something along the lines of "gnome backpack"? I can respect that.
and Ronan was using her to talk, and then he felt weird about that, and then like,
I thought of like gnome puppet. Okay, I can respect that too.
But that was freaking Harmonious's first introduction, was just slaughtering the fuck out of
that demon.
Yeah.
Okay, when we started combat, what were you guys' mindsets?
Okay, he's gonna take the focus away from him.
Yeah, I was like, I'm gonna get him from a distance, and I'm gonna use the fire and the oil that I have somehow to catch him on fire and fuck him over. I was thinking more strategic, like how do I use the environment around me? And like you just straight up fucking like, I have sword will travel. Smite.
Sword go rainbow.
For me though, for when we were in that combat, I was like, all right, he's a paladin. He's probably gonna have the demon focus on him. So I'm just gonna be that run around DPS and try to find good critical points to do my melee attacks, sword attacks, and flurry of blows.
Remember, at this point, you guys were spent.
Aura.
Oh
you
god,
guys
that's
never
right.
took a long rest.
Yeah, because we were like, we need to get to Sabrina.
That's true.
But so yeah, like with you there, you were very helpful. Crunch got knocked down. You showed that you can heal. We're just like, all right, cool. We got a fucking healer. And
okay,
and so it's just like, all right, so he's gonna take the focus. I got close range attacks. Miller's got long range attacks. And Atisha's got Anatish.
To be fair, this is when I didn't realize about sneak attack. I think I found out about sneak attack that session. Like, I totally forgot that was something I had in my arsenal. Which is handy as shit. Like, I think it was actually Josh that told me that I have sneak attack. He was like, you have sneak attack.
I know almost all the classes because I've DM'd. 2, I look at everything. And I play with a lot of different people who play everything different ways. Which this group is refreshing for me. I mean, you guys are also different. I mean,
weird, man.
don't know.
Okay,
what the
no.
fuck
A group of
Sean
misfits.
can attest. The normal guys I play with are just as weird.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. Landon's got a cat cam.
Uh-oh.
Is
Uh,
it smiting?
Fighting is familiar. I don't know.
I'm
That's smiting.
I play with weird people, but
Yeah.
no. What I mean is
He's
I've
enjoying
never
this.
I
played.
know. I just now noticed, Andor.
It's been a year since I've played with a monk in a party. I've never played with an arcane trickster before. I mean,
I've never
Jacob.
played an arcane trickster before.
I've never played Paladin before. I mean, you wouldn't know that by how I'm playing him, but
You want to know something funny though? When I was building up Crunch as a monk, and I was trying to select the proficiencies that he was good at, I was gonna choose stealth as a proficiency. And this is the one thing we were discussing. I was thinking, like,
Don't get to
there
that,
might
don't
be
get to
stealth,
that yet.
but here's the thing: Sean was gonna give me, whenever we do stealth, he was gonna give me disadvantage. So with me being proficient at it, I had disadvantage because I'm a fucking
Mr.
robot. And
Robot.
if we were in a cave and it's like, all right, I'm gonna sneak around these trolls, as an example. He's like, all right, stealth disadvantage, and if I succeeded in one of them, it would have been it would have been a hilarious, stupid situation if we're sneaking around him. We'd be like, "Did you hear something?" I was like, "Nah, I don't hear anything." Well, there's like giant thudding footsteps.
The whirring
Well,
of
in
not only
the
that,
cave.
because like
you know that sound your piece.
Yeah.
You know that sound your PC or you know that sound your PC or console makes when it's like overheating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, yeah, but now I'm gonna get disadvantage, so I'm gonna pick something else, and here it is.
mind you, I also have disadvantage on stealth because
Yeah,
I wear heavy armor.
Me in the face.
Yep.
But back to the
Spot me with a
mindset in the
tail.
combat. I went in that with, oh shit, because I fought a Balgora before. Sean remembers this, and I went into fighting that Balgura with I had everything like I do now, and I was a level. We were what 4, 5?
you guys had just turned level 5 that campaign.
Okay, we had just turned level 5. I'm a level 5 Hexblade Warlock. I now have 2 attacks. Wonderful, stupendous.
Amazing.
Here's the issue, though.
Here's the
This
catch.
thing still wrecked our shit. We barely got out of that thing alive. And we're all level... We're not level 4, we're not level 5, we're all level 3.
3.
I'm going to this combat like... Okay.
I'm surprised that we
How are we
got
gonna
out
do
of that fucking combat.
If I wasn't playing a paladin...
I don't know.
None of
what
this would have made it. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you didn't have a paladin, we wouldn't make it.
What happened after that though? What was the next session?
Okay,
we-
so the next session
yeah.
was you guys went off, slept, and like got all healed up and stuff, and then you guys went and all of you were actually brought in by the town's guard to the lawmaster of the town.
Fuck, I remember that. I was crowd control, and I'm like, Jesus Christ.
And
I think this is when I was gone for that session. Because
You were, yes, this is the session you were gone. I remember because Initish almost got me and Ronan killed.
Yeah,
Yep.
so
Initish ran straight
for my
forward.
part, I told
anything.
Sean, I'm like, look, I'm going to be working this day. Just have it to where what Crunch is doing, he's fixing his fucking plating up, and he's
Yeah.
got no plating on him right now, so he's
And,
fixing.
like with that entire situation, like it led to you guys going up to the Malin caves and dealing with kobolds, where Inatish like was like, "Hey, I'm gonna get myself surrounded by 4 kobolds."
Who had pack
And
mentality?
he's got to hold his action, right?
Yeah, he
His
held,
idea
he held his
But it's not
action.
action.
He's gonna run up to this kobold, not attack it, and hold his action under the pretense of it failing grease.
Yeah,
This
like
is one of the 3 kobolds that passed.
No, this was
The Grease
before
round.
Grease.
before Greece.
No, like I
Uh,
said, he held his action.
Okay, so what Jacob had done was he walked up to the kobold, held his action, although the 4 kobolds that were there went right after him.
Well, no, what I mean is, He held his action with the pretenses of it failing Greece.
Yeah.
I'm saying where his biggest mistake was.
Yeah, and like his biggest mistake was not listening to Miller, who was like, "Hey, I go way after you."
Don't hold your action because I might not succeed on what I'm trying to do.
And I'm
And
just
he held
like,
his action.
how do we
And
save him?
I can see this. That was a session where I think Harmonia started to gain a little bit of respect for Ronan, because Ronan did pull through in that one to try to get people to fuck out, and Harmonious was holding his own too, like hardcore. And like we went into that cave first off because we heard that there was some kind of mystical thing in that cave. Where we didn't know where it was. I was trying to find out the information for that. Couldn't really get the information on that. We get in there, and Ronan, like a dumbass, decides that he's going to just speak into the cave and be like, "Hello, is anyone here?" And like,
Didn't I like cover your mouth after that too?
huh?
Yeah,
Didn't Harmonious like cover your mouth
Yeah,
like halfway through?
but it was too late since like he had rolled a natural 20 on the shit too.
Well, yeah, but it would have been like just.
Yeah.
I knew it was too late. There was no save.
And Ronan,
But good character
Ronan-
roleplay. I mean,
Ronan at this point is still dealing with the death of Nidra. Like hardcore, still feels it. Still like trying to repress all the sorrow and sadness. We get into that. Initiation almost kills us. Now Ronan being the fourth wall breaker, like recognizes that Jacob as a player, and this is the depth that Ronan goes. Jacob as a player played Nidra and made the decision that killed Nidra, and so he sees Inatish and he knows behind Inatish is his god, aka Jacob, and is like pissed at Inatish and doesn't want to accept Inatish, but also is like, well, fuck you. Well, how do you think you're just gonna join us? Like we just lost someone. I don't care about any of this. So like we go in, Inatish dies, and we
goes unconscious.
I thought she failed, didn't she?
No, Inatish didn't die. It was
we had a little bit of retcon happen at that point.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we almost
We couldn't have another character die so soon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, we had a recon. We actually had a choice to make, and I remember Shade approached us with this. He was like, "Do you want to save Inatish? Do you want to save Nidra?" And that was the choice that was stuck between Jackal and I. Jackal and I had to make that choice whether Nidra lives or Inatish lives, and then there would be something that could be done to do that. Because revival, I believe, is good for a year or something like that. There's something that can bring someone back, but only once a year hasn't passed. If a year hasn't passed, so we decided that we would bring back Inatish because Nidra died, and in Ronan's eyes, Nidra died with honor because Nidra died fighting the way that she wanted to fight. In Jacob's eyes and in Nidra's eyes, Nidra actually died in a horrible, horrible, horrible way. Not the way that she wanted to. And it was a whole bunch of like, fuck this shit. And her last thoughts were, oh God, why? And so it's pretty freaking deep and horrifying. But so Inatish lived at least for a little while more. The next session. What happened after we left the caves?
What?
Well, okay. Well, remember there was that one thing I just want to say about the combat. One last thing. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but Harmonious also went into this thinking, okay, you two can take that side. I won't have to use. I probably won't have to use my channel divinity. I won't be able to have to use any of this. Inatish goes down. I'm like, oh shit. It's just me and the rogue. And I can take on 4. I don't think I can take on 8 kobolds that all have advantage. The only reason why we made it through it was because of the combined efforts of Ronan with his ranged sneak attacks, and the fact that I used my other channel divinity that doesn't add damage, but gave me basically a perfect copy. Which
Yeah.
is which I that's the one I will use the rarest, obviously. But I want to confirm that Miller, Ronan did make an impression on Harmonious in that combat.
Yeah,
I just wanted to confirm that.
I figured as much because I know that Harmonious's attitude changed slightly towards Ronan after that. Like in Ronan's eyes, in my eyes as a player, it was because Ronan proved that he has somewhat of value. And as Ronan, it just seemed like he became more accepting of Ronan. You know, in all of Ronan's weirdness.
Little of both.
Yeah.
I mean, as a player and as a character, it's a little bit of both.
But yeah, after we left the caves, we had to reassess everything. And I forget what happened after that session.
Well,
I guess real quick. Sorry.
Well, I think we should skip a little bit ahead right now so we can get Landon a little more talk time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask him if not so far.
Because we've been talking about like the last 16 sessions of the campaign, and we haven't even gotten to where Landon gets involved yet.
So I will bridge that gap. So in that time, we fought side to side with Harmonious through a couple different things. Initish died again, and this
that
time
was through the interdimensional travel.
Through the interdimensional travel to another plane, where we met this chick that had all these mushrooms and zombies everywhere, and friggin' spores, and friggin' Initish ended up punching a tree, like shadowboxing a tree, and getting attacked by zombies, which infected her, and then she died. Because Sean rolled really fucking well, and Initish rolled really badly. So,
Actually, I'm the one that rolled bad for Initish.
Jacob also wasn't there for that. So with the loss of yet another character, and having our party down one, and coming up against a dragon, because Sean rolled really freaking evilly for like our encounters and going through this snow-covered plain, and we end up coming across a fucking white dragon. Sean was like, fuck.
We were all fucking like, Jesus Christ. We were all weak, and Crunch was rusted to hell. Because of that 1 year time skip.
Yeah, we woke up after the Cosmos thing, and friggin' we were 1 year later in time. Nidria's body was decomposed in friggin' Ronan's bed. And Ronan did say his goodbye to Nidria by a river, and it was super emotional and shit, but he put her in the bag, and now she's mostly decomposed. There was a time we found out that the fucking world was in shambles. The black market was almost disbanded. A whole bunch of shit was fucked up. The Jorhassian army was right
at our fucking doorstep.
Yeah, right at our doorstep, which was they were so far last time. And we ended up getting another warrior that we met, and he lasted one session. And then some internal things happened, and he ended up not being part of the campaign. So then we ended up face to face with a white dragon, and he ended up not being part of the campaign just before we battled the white dragon. So in the following session, we needed another character, and I guess Sean did his magic, and he found a really awesome character, aka Landon, who came in as Andor, or as Ronan refers to him, number 10.
That's also where I have like one of my own questions for him is like what were your thoughts when you're like, hey, I want to join a campaign. I'm like, hey, how do you feel about joining a stream campaign?
Well, I haven't done. I don't think. Yeah, I don't think I have done an official stream campaign before. We were thinking about doing it in one of my previous campaigns, but we never actually got to it. So I was like, yeah, I never got to truly do this, so why not? And going into the campaign, I wasn't that excited per se because I did deal with some bad DMs before all of this. So I was like, I'll just test this out, see if it's another one of those, so I didn't make my character too complicated. I was actually planning to make Andor a warlock fighter. But because I wanted to keep it simple, I just stayed with that. And just went from there. We met on Amino, I think. Yeah, that one app.
Yeah, like I honestly thought coming in that Sean had known you for like forever and that you had just joined.
Nope.
And like then he was like, "No, dude, I met him like not even long before he ended up joining." I was like, "Oh shit." Yeah, and when Andor first appeared, we just saw a pile of fur and Ronan because Ronan's Ronan.
So what was your experience in like finding out my DM style and everything?
I was relieved, to be honest, because a lot of DMs just aren't good lately for some reason. Like, I can't tell you. I went through 5 DMs before I met you guys. All of them railroaders, didn't describe anything.
Oh, I hate railroaders.
Oh boy.
And I was super happy to finally have a DM with a good style, with a good team, and all that. I was cautious the first session because I didn't want to get too interlocked with all the characters, but by session 2 I was like, yeah, I'm into this.
I guess I got my question. Thoughts about the characters when you met them?
Definitely.
Because here you are. You're seeing a tiefling paladin, a warforge, and everyone else, and just like, oh god.
Crunch,
Yeah,
Crunch was definitely my favorite. Ronan starting to get up there. I really do like Crunch. His concept is interesting. I like it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, can we touch on that for a second? I have to say the story of Crunch is really developing because through the sessions we realized that Crunch has this past.
Give me a second.
Nope, you had a connection initiatives for him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we realized that Crunch had this past that he's now having flashbacks of, and like how is that for you, dude? How is that to this character that now has this complex nature to it?
So, little to known ideas of Warforge. It's like when I was reading up on the character, it said like these are very rare to come across in the D&D world. I was like, all right, well, there's something to go off of that. And then so I told Sean, I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you about Crunch's backstory because I only got one thing started was that piece of cloth that Sabrina had even asked him what was he holding. And I had no idea what would be on the piece of cloth at the time. So when I contacted Sean, I'm like, hey, we need to talk about Crunch's backstory because I know you're probably interested in trying to get something started for him. So he did a bit of research and he's like, well, it's having to see at the time era is the Calamity era. I'm like, well, shit. Here we are. We got a fucking Warforged from a Calamity era. In which the Calamity era is described as the battle against the gods, pretty much.
Well, okay, the Calamity era is more precisely, it's the battle of everyone against a certain set of gods. So like
Yeah.
every elf, human, dwarf, halfling, gnome, and then gods versus the betrayer gods. That's all that
Yeah.
boiled down to.
Yeah, so something happened during the battle to where he's now out of commission, so he got excavated in this cave
Don't give too
excavation pretty
away.
much. Well, he even said it. He even said it in one of the sessions.
He said
Yeah.
this much. It's not a spoilers.
Yeah. So, yeah, he got excavated, got repaired. He took up as the monk class, for sure. But he's trying to figure out who he is. He only has that little information of that bit of the Calamity era, the Calamity era, and he's only had that half piece of the banner
Yeah.
of that icon,
Well,
which he has on his chest plate, the sword and the gears.
Yeah. I would also like to state the amount of freedom you gave me with him.
Yeah, because we were just like, we need to figure out how we could do this. All right, well, shit, he's excavated from his site. All right, does he have his memories? Probably not. He doesn't have them all.
Well,
So we were
it's
like,
also
all right, he's got fucking amnesia.
So but it's like you basically handed me a blank sheet of paper. It's like fill it in.
Pretty much. I was
And-
like, I
and,
have no idea what to go off of here.
And
All I know is they're a fucking robot.
yeah, and with that process, that's where I've been thinking. I'm like, okay, so what would fit? And that's where designing the memories for Crunch to slowly get back. It's like, okay, how do I design this in a way that fits the character, that does the character justice, and shows what the character was compared to now.
Which is really cool because in real time you have these memories that you've constructed for Crunch, and Crunch not knowing the memories until he hears them.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god!
But like I said, since he was found during an excavation, he has tried to find any items that would probably trigger things of his past life. Since why he's worked with Victor at the black market, because one, he's got someone to work under to keep him hidden from maybe anyone finding him. We don't know. But also for him to find items while he works there, because maybe someone could come up with an item that they found, and maybe he may take a look at it and see if it triggers anything for him, which hasn't so far, except for that wolf battle when he got unfrozen, and when he found the other half of that banner.
Yeah.
In the
So-
same
And
I will-
session,
Hmm?
Mike. Said in the
Someone's gonna-
same session, Mike.
But yeah, I just contacted Sean. I'm like, we need to figure this out. And it's like, all right, he's got amnesia. We got to find items that will trigger more of his backstory. And,
Trust me, I have a few hard hitting ones planned out.
Oh yeah, this is why I'm like,
Of course.
I have full trust in you. How we're gonna do this? You've come up with great fucking ideas, man. And I've heard your ideas in high school.
Yes, Josh.
And bringing up Crunch's backstory, this isn't about Crunch himself. This is actually about you, Sean. So you've expressed to all of us your uncertainty sometimes, and every time you do, I sit back and I think you have nothing to be uncertain about. I mean, my first time with you. I mean, yeah, my first character died, and both characters I played in that campaign were confidants for kings, like their advisors and everything. But that's not the point I'm trying to make. I'm trying to the intricacy of the second one. I mean, you incorporated him into your own story, and which honestly touched my heart, because he was actually a rework of my first ever D&D character.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you're able to do with adapting Ronan's backstory into your campaign.
Oh, trust me,
What you're-
that's an everlasting struggle. I have been like, because like it took me about the 22 sessions it did to actually get to the point I did with Ronan's backstory, like evolving in the world, evolving in the story, like evolving with making this villain, this big bad evil guy that you guys have to prepare for in 2 years. It's like it took me a while of being like, okay, what's the process I need to take with this? Do I have to take some shrooms?
But I mean, the fact that you were able to do it says
It's
something.
impressive. Yeah, and it's a hell of a DM that does that.
I mean, what you're able to
And that's something
build with everything I said I'm going to kill you over. I mean, that's an overarching story I've been a part of, and I can't seem to escape. It's like me and Eldritch Horror. I can't get away from it.
Andrew was gonna say something.
to this fucking internet issue. I'm sorry, I'm having connection issues. Like literally can't.
all good.
get stuff
We
you guys
we
are
don't
saying.
even we haven't even been noticing you have connection issues because you sound
He-
fine.
Well, he's
No, I
the
can't.
one having the issues. He's
I
not hearing
can't.
us.
I can't hear half the things you guys are saying.
Oh,
And
okay.
screens are all
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the reason I'm leaving so much, is so I can reconnect and join back.
Oh, I remember when we had those.
Yeah, it's all
issues.
good. Dear Lord.
But yeah, I mean, like to have. Oh, by the way, fuck you too. Like, you know, so when
saw that
I
coming.
when I do role play and everything, I really tune in to the character, and like as because I'm an actor too, but you know, like I tune into Ronan, and the first campaign that Ronan was in, the OG Ronan, was a very emotional one. It lasted for 2 years, and it was this huge development of worlds, a huge development of story, and a lot of stuff happened within it that was very emotionally liberating and very emotionally saddening. And it ended, as you all know, in the destruction of his world. Well, you guys don't know that in character, but you guys know that as people.
Especially not Andor. He doesn't even know about the whole 2-year thing.
Yeah.
And Sean actually told me about something along the lines and told me this time I'm not the reason why there's the Eldritch Horror in the campaign.
Yeah. So, you know, every time that Sean rings that back and brings Ronan back to that world, the Ronan that you're seeing now is a Ronan that has had a wall up. You know, because he thinks in his brain that the reason that the world previously was destroyed was because he's able to see all these different worlds. He's able to see
Would
the
run.
actual world, and you know, to see the realities within and without. And so like he tried to divide that away, but he keeps on getting forced into this area where it's becoming thinner and thinner and thinner. And Sean keeps on bringing that right back to Ronan's face, like, "Hey, look at your world, buddy. You see those little pieces? That's your world blown up. How you feel about that?" And Ronan's like, "I don't like it. I don't like it." He's like,
I want to say real quick, because when going back to when like the second or third session that I was with you guys, when we were in that cart and you had the acid on you, I was like, what the fuck am I hearing right now in this campaign? This is something that I was like, all right, this is something I'm experiencing in a campaign. And then we had to throw it out, and I remember that Honor gave you a big ass bag of acid, and it wasn't until 2 sessions ago before we started, I'm like, doesn't Ronan still have that bag of acid?
Ronan does.
I forgot
But
all about it.
that like also like some of those like things you guys bring up actually like has a question with me. Like, what do you guys think of those like little like sharp twists and turns that I throw your guys' way every so often?
I hate him and I love him.
I hate him. I love him.
By the way, Sean, why do I always have the instinct to kill the betrayers that you throw at us before you even know they're betrayers?
I don't know.
Motherfucking instinct.
Going back to backstories, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you go ahead.
I really hope Sean does learn a way to abuse Andor's backstory in a way.
It's not.
I hope not. I heard a little bit about that. Sounds
A fiend I can do with a dragon I can't.
I do have to say though, Andor is one of the more lazily written backstories that I've devised, because I've written a lot of backstories in my time. Like, I can easily think of 5 characters that are better. Solway, the Kenku, easily. But like, I'm giving him the freedom to kind of interchange it in a way and abuse certain aspects of it and maybe add a bit in there that I wouldn't have thought of. Cause
Danger zone.
I know he's a good DM and I know he's capable of stuff like that.
I
Well,
mean,
now I got a question.
For who?
What?
Well, I guess all of us, since we've played D&D so much, backstory-wise, when creating characters, like is this is this pretty much the most interesting backstory you've ever made for a character in a session? Because so far for me, like I've only had now 2 characters, Crunch, and then from Zukoku's brother, James, the elf that I had for him also had an interesting backstory. I've only had 2 characters with interesting backstories. Everybody else was like either the same, which was lazy writing. Like,
Yeah.
how are your guys' backstories? Is like the most interesting one that you've ever made?
Like, okay, are we talking just like purely D&D?
Purely in D&D, I guess.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
purely in D&D.
That saves me a couple hundred characters.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
But it doesn't help that my entire career with D&D is I've mostly been a DM, so I still have a couple hundred characters.
Well,
Well,
still,
let's
you've
focus
made
on-
characters
let's
with
focus on
interesting
player
backstories, right?
My most interesting character backstories that I've designed was 3 characters that were connected to each other. One,
Like, were they connected to each other? Like, attached to each
no,
other?
not that way.
relationship.
Siamese triplets.
Like you guys have actually, well, as the player, you guys know one of these characters, and that's Devlot.
I know all of them, I think.
You know all of them. You played as
Yeah.
one of them,
Oh, yeah.
and it's like with that backstory wise, as with characters, like that was probably the most in depth I've made D&D character backstories with those 3, and let's just say I do have some things involving that.
Damn.
I'll kill you.
So,
Oh,
Landon, how about you? What was your favorite
My favorite what?
backstory that you created?
My favorite is for a character that I'm planning on. He's either going to be a backup or the character for Josh's next, or for Josh's campaign. I can't really reveal his backstory, but a character that I did play in the past was he was a Dragonborn druid, I think. Yeah, a Dragonborn druid who was absolutely obsessed with transmutation. He wanted to get rich off it. He wanted money. That's all he wanted, and he wanted to do it with transmutation. And it just led to this funny storyline of him invading a lead mine.
Oh,
It,
God.
it was great. But his brother was a warlock, which I have yet to actually play, because I did want to play his brother. He's a Fey patron warlock with Pact of the Tome.
Our face a fun one.
Fays are dicks.
Oh, God.
Fuck
Fake
Faye.
assholes.
Yeah, and it's just interesting concepts like that, like wacky characters that I like doing, because my Kenku character, I can't wait until you guys see that one, because I do have a weird, but also kind of just comedic backstory for him. It's comedic and messed up at the same time. It's one of those.
Miller, you got an interesting character or
So-
interesting character?
That's not
Sorry.
running.
No,
Not running.
And no, it's totally Ronan. Ronan is definitely my first character that I played was I think it was a human. Um, I forget what the hell his class was, but it was a long time ago, and I was like 14. I don't even remember what his backstory was. Um, I played a couple other characters, but when I created Ronan, was actually before Deadpool came out. Like I hadn't even touched a Deadpool comic, and like uh, during playing my campaign as Ronan, like thinking, "Oh, fourth wall, shit, this is cool," you know. Deadpool ended up coming out. Like the teaser trailer dropped, and, and then I was like, "Oh shit!" And then everyone's like, "You're like Deadpool," and I was like, "Deadpool's like me." And so Ronan's whole backstory, was Ronan was a loner. Ronan lived most of his life in the woods by himself because being a half elf, he was despised by his village. So he was kicked out as a baby, and so it was almost like Mugwai or was Mugwai? Mugly?
Mogwai?
Yeah, it's like
Mugwai?
Mugly. Yeah, he was just in the woods. So his original thing was he was a paladin and the nature druid paladin, half elf, and so he channeled nature, and he was like he worshipped the dungeon master because he kind of lost it along the way and realized he was part of a game or part of a storyline. And
Damn.
he joined a guild, and they ended up getting powers in that certain guild, and the powers further broke him to realize like that he actually was a little plastic piece on a game board, and that he was living both lives at once. And
Jesus.
when Deadpool dropped, he was like, you know what? If there's a Deadpool out there, I can't be Deadpool, then I'll just be Murder Bath. So he changed his life to Murder Bath.
Hey y'all, I gotta go. Night.
Okay.
Sorry
All right.
about all that. Show me show me the art of the characters later. I want to see it.
Definitely. We'll post that during the stream, right? The Friday. Yeah.
I'll see.
Yeah.
y'all.
Later, Landon. You're having you on, man. See you next week. See you this week, actually.
Yeah, Friday.
Yeah, see you Friday.
See you in a couple
Bye.
days.
So, with the
I
last
guess-
few minutes we have, is there anything else that we would like to discuss?
I mean,
It's
we
my
got
character.
Andor. We got Harmonious's question for the character as well. But I mean, if we wanted to say anything else, we can.
I wanted to take the final moments besides just the question. Like obviously ask the question, but I definitely want to take some time and talk about the evolution of our characters and like what we think of the evolution and what we think and where we think it's going to go.
Is it a
Like-
general question to everyone, or
Yeah, it's a general question to everyone, and that's for Shade as well. Like he's seen the evolution of all of our characters and helped.
I'd say for like how this campaign's gone so far, Crunch being that serious person rolling intimidations, is now like opened up to this group pretty much. Harmonious is pretty much a combat brother to him, so he's he's anything Harmonious needs help from him, he'll do, and vice versa. So Grunge has gone from like being serious to, yeah, I'm still serious, but I mean, no, you guys are all comrades, pretty much.
And Harmonious, how do you feel about your character's development? Oh wait, Sean's got a thingy.
Going.
Oh.
Josh.
But what's really funny is for both of us, we are actually like that.
Yeah.
I wish I had a broomstick so I could be like, keep it down. Ah!
Meanwhile, I'm poking Crunch. I'm entering my finger into Crunch's head.
No!
How do you feel about this?
Stop brain poking!
How do I? The question is, how do I feel about how Harmonious is evolving?
How, yeah, how he's just like developing as a character and all that.
Well, before this, he probably spent maybe 2 or 3 days with a group, and then would move on to the next job. He spent how long with these people so far?
Over a year?
Time-wise, a year.
Well, I mean, aside from the time skip, realistically, we've spent
Like about
5 months, give or take. Maybe 14
realistically,
weeks and
Because
No.
we did have that 11-week skip of trying to rehabilitate.
like
so like all,
3 or 4
all,
months.
yeah.
Yeah, about 3 months.
This is the longest he spent with anybody at one time, and he's willing to put himself a little bit in the way to keep you guys safe.
Tarzan.
Fucking Tarzan. That's why. That's the one part too that he's got full trust in combat.
I can't believe I actually tried to. I can't believe I almost did it too.
That was fucking amazing. Can I just say I rolled 3 nat 1s in that whole session?
I'd like to also
3
remind
in
you
a row
that
with 3 different dice.
I had just picked myself back up from going down. I had like 2 or 3. I had 1 hit point left. I had 1 hit point. I'm in heavy armor, pretty much bled to death at one point, and was still able to do it somehow. Adrenaline is a beautiful thing, but
Adrenaline's a beautiful thing.
if I was playing any other character, what Harmonious is doing now would already be second nature. This is alien to Harmonious, and he hasn't started to question it.
Oh my god.
I mean, after the whole honor thing, I'm probably gonna have Harmonious is actually probably gonna start questioning it. Like, why is he actually doing this? How is he? Why? How? When did it start?
Oh yeah, that also
Because-
brings me a. Well, yeah. Continue your thought. I'm sorry.
Because Harmonious went into that thinking Honor was a lycanthrope because Blood Hunter. He was fully ready to kill Honor for you guys. After having told Honor, stick with him and he'll go far in the black market. Which Harmonious is in an interesting mental place at this point.
Mhm.
And as I've told Sean in DMs, Harmonious is on a horrendous roller coaster and he can't get off.
But that actually brings one like last interesting question from me, and that's what was your guys' thoughts when you guys witnessed Honor get taken away?
I was fucking.
Oh.
I failed.
Ronan actually recognized what those things were from his dream, and it kind of stunned him because Ronan did not expect these things to be here so early, and doesn't know what that means. Andor actually had the question: do we think that Honor is dead? Do we think that Honor is dead?
Crunch and I are still trying to comprehend what being we just saw. But really, he's like, "What the fuck?" And we're hoping that Honor's really okay, and hopefully nothing too terribly bad has happened to him.
I have no hope for Honor. And Ronan, I don't think, has any hope for Honor. Honor's gone for Ronan. And not lightly either. Ronan appreciates Honor's existence. And like throughout the sessions, the 20 sessions that have elapsed, in the however many months in game time, he's formed almost a brotherhood with Honor, where they're jovial with one another, which is something that is almost impossible for them to have Ronan to have right away with anyone, because Ronan's such offbeat. So it takes a warming up period, and he had that with Honor, and now Honor's gone. So he lost a friend, and he doesn't think that friend's coming back.
I was thinking during that after that session when I was rethinking the whole session that has happened. I was like, Sean didn't even say Honor was there for the breakfast part. He didn't say anything of like any traces left behind that Honor made. So we didn't even think, where the hell's Honor? Until Andor came across him, I think.
Yeah, it was Andor that came across him.
Yeah, so
Because it had like one of the things that like I had been set up was like it was habit for Honor basically to go incognito in a sleep stasis after dragging the party along as long as he does, having been the only one who actually had any good animal handling.
yeah.
So it's like, okay, like I saw a chance and I took it.
Yeah, I think that Honor is going to be taken over. I think that it's the last time we see Honor as is, but I don't think it's the last time we'll see Honor.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, like
It's my prediction.
I don't think he's gone fully in the overall.
But
yeah, I agree with you guys. The way I see it, Honor's also gone. Harmonious has already accepted that he's gone. But there's one lingering thought that lingers with Harmonious, and it's the two words of "I failed."
Yeah.
Wait, is that the Honor's words?
Harmonious sees it as "I failed." Those are the two words lingering in his head.
I think that honestly, all of the characters right now are in a pretty fucked up state. You've got the flashbacks of Crunch happening, where Crunch is like trying to figure out his background. We just met your brother. Well, we met Harmonious's brother and had breakfast with him, but we just watched Honor be taken, which was like the leader of this thing that Harmonious was trying to do. And obviously, you've got the "I failed" thing going through your head. And Ronan said something from his past and his dream is coming to fruition way before he expected it to, which he doesn't know if he's even going to have time to prepare.
On top of that, you guys also met Harmonious's patron without even knowing it.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, Elizabeth is actually Glacia. Yeah, which is pretty friggin' insane. But
Still funny for that session. God,
that was amazing. Nat 20 sex. That's what Nat 20 sex sounds like, silent and rumbling.
Actually, Josh had PM'd me and said like sex will never be the same again.
For Harmonious,
it rumbles.
for Harmonious, sex would never be the same.
Nope. That one time is the only time.
I do want to put this out there though. Like, I've watched all of your characters develop. And it's. I've said this many times to Sean. See how Harmonious has developed, and everything is like pretty awesome. Seeing how Crunch has developed is pretty awesome. Like seeing that these stories and these arcs are deepening and getting further, and the personality is opening up. It's like I feel like Harmonious opened up a little bit more because in the beginning Harmonious was just fucking straight laced, like fuck off.
He was an asshole. He's still an asshole, but
no, but now he actually jokes. Like now he jokes and he seems to accept the circumstances around him.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, even when I first joined, he was making jokes. The gnome stuff was him making jokes.
Yeah.
But now it's like even terrifying because now Harmonious is happy.
Uh-huh.
Or was.
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 Yeah, there's Sean again. I got you to a nice high point now for the low. The higher they are, the harder they fall.
Something I'll mention about Harmonious is he was on a teeter-totter for years. Sean just pushed him off the edge.
You're welcome.
Orladin, here we come.
So,
I'm not ready to become a warlock yet. I don't care. You're getting fucked.
You're getting fucked.
so out of all the sessions that we've had, what are your favorite moments to like almost close things off? What have your favorite moments been? The small pleasures, because I think that's something that everyone can really speak on.
For me, some of my best moments, for me, that seem like the best, are like those moments where you see the character development. You see that the characters are genuine. They feel real. And also, right now, my top moment is fucking Harmonious.
Okay, that's because you got me speechless, and that's a rare thing to happen.
That was beautiful.
So now I can. Well, I don't even know if I should go this far in saying that, but fuck it. I can now say I fucked Josh.
Fucking wonderful.
Only took you 3.5 years.
That fucking's got a long reach. It's fucking great.
And now you guys can really see the relationship me and Sean have.
Oh no.
And then with Ronan, my one of my best moments with Ronan is one of the more recent ones where I crushed his reality.
Was Nidriel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was soul crushing. Ronan's still reeling from that. Still somewhat in denial.
And then with Crunch, one of my favorite moments was more specifically just his memories, like getting to roll, to describe that and with the fluid detail of it.
I'm hoping for his upcoming memories, I can roll a nat 20 and then get hopefully a good a really long memory.
All right,
I'm
going to write a 17-page memory cycle.
Okay, wait. I know, I
it's
said
too
fucking long
late.
memory.
No, sorry. 20-page memory
okay.
cycle. I will write this shit.
Okay, is that what? Are you gonna warn us to get popcorn beforehand, or?
Please, if you do that,
It's a D&D campaign. You're never gonna know when it's gonna happen.
No. I mean, are we gonna have a break before you do it so that we can get popcorn?
I don't know. Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe not.
as soon as I roll a nat 20, we'll know.
What'd you say?
No. This is D&D. I expect you guys to have snacks prepared before the session.
Well, by the time we get to the memory, the popcorn.
Yeah, by the time we get to the memory. Yeah, no, that is a good choice for it. The memories I'm looking forward to, really. My point of view wise with Harmonious was literally the Tarzan save. I failed that shit 3 nat 1s, but the whole process that has happened, the fall where I thought Crunch was fully gone, I was like, it's still a best fucking moment.
Yes.
Someone. Okay, and then we had a fucking bar to show up, but
Really
still still an amazing thing that Harmonious did towards Crunch, and then with Ronan, magic, wires, and bullshit. Is there any way to describe that shit?
Besides
And
magic
and
powers and bullshit.
And the funny thing is that we planned that. I got off work and I went to the gas station, and that you guys live across.
Yeah, like we actually like. Funny thing was, me and Miller were actually going for a midnight walk at that point, and we were walking, and I saw your car pull up. I'm like, I think that's Alton. So we run across the street.
And you fucking scared the shit out of me.
And then no, just to get closer first, just so I see. And then I saw the Ari sticker on your car. I'm like, that's him. So I run up.
Yeah,
and
I have an
Whoa!
Ari sticker. I have an Ari sticker.
Yeah, so I run up and like, boo!
And I was like, fuck!
And then your coworker was there.
I got off my phone. Yeah, my coworker was there to see that happen. So yeah, I had just gotten off of work, gone to Circle K, and they met up me there. Sean scared the fuck out of me. We grabbed sodas while we were there to talk, and I was like, all right, catch me up to speed what happened in this previous session. And they told me about it. I'm like, all right, so Crunch still fixed his armor plating, and Sean's like, yeah, we let that happen. I was like, all right, cool. And then we're like, and Miller even asked me, so what's under Crunch's body under the armor plate? And we're just like, well, we don't know. It could be anything. All of a sudden, we're like, magic wires and bullshit. And he's like, what? Yeah, magic wires and bullshit. And we set that whole scene up.
And that was also the same time where I teased Elite Flabbergaster and made these two motherfuckers laugh their ass off.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. So that whole night, we're just like,
not gonna let you down. I'm gonna run around and desert you.
Oh, dear Lord, it's someone who needs to be smited.
Please, I tell you, I'm horny.
so yeah, we're just like, all right, here's how it's gonna go down. Ronan, you're gonna go to Crunch's room, and we're gonna fucking see how this goes. Magic wires are bullshit. We're gonna be asking this question, and we're gonna be answering it, and it's gonna be a fucking shirt.
Eventually. Once we get designed.
One of many shirts.
But it literally, that's the best thing to ever happen with Ronan and Crunch. Magic wires and bullshit.
And Shattuck, what about you?
I agree with the whole Tarzan thing. I think that's honestly one of my best campaign moments. Multiple campaigns. I mean, across all of Sean's campaigns, I think the only thing that beats it is the original live stream when I showed up with, "Hey guys, how's the health insurance?"
Yeah, Divine Intervention's a bitch.
So, just a little backstory: the cleric rolled a nat 20 on religion. About what? 5 seconds later, I wasn't even there. I joined because I told Sean I most likely won't be able to make it. So I show up in the middle of combat, probably 5 or 6 seconds after he rolled a nat 20. I'm like, "Hey guys, how's the health insurance?"
We lost our shit laughing.
I turned the tides of combat.
Lord.
But the Tarzan thing, just for an harmonious moment alone, and then when Harmonious and Crunch were in the combat with the bloater and the clickers, when honestly Harmonious went down, but Crunch kept fighting.
Yeah, man.
I mean, I enjoyed that moment. I was fully accepting that entire those 3 sessions. I accepted Harmonious could die. Because I spent all of them, almost all of the 3 of those sessions, I had single digit health the entire time.
You did.
And in each session, I went down at least once. But with Harmonious and Ronan, it's actually the shop with Autumn York, with all the chaos that was going on between pretty much those three characters.
Oh wait, with the thieves' cant.
Yeah, with the thieves' cant and everything, just with the chaos of the three, and Harmonious just being like, one of these days I'll learn the language.
Yeah.
We have a resident Fruit Loops.
I mean, I honestly enjoyed it a lot.
That was just wonderful that these can't. It was speaking just another language. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh, these socks are tasty.
I have to give it credit to that kid right there, because that he rolled with it. Literally, fucking just rolled with it and was like, "All right, this is how we're doing Thieves' Cant. This is how we're doing Thieves' Cant."
I mean, but yeah, no, I enjoyed all of it. I enjoyed watching it. I enjoyed just poking fun at it. The sandwich moment was actually also really when Harmonious and Crunch were having that little conversation, and then 5 minutes later, I show up with actual sandwiches.
Yeah, yeah. That was funny because you're like, you asked what type of sandwich, and I thought you were talking about that in game. I'm like, even though I'm a robot, that still sounds pretty good. I thought you were asking that in game.
I was talking about that in game. My dad just so happened to get Chick-fil-A for dinner.
Yeah, and then you showed up with sandwiches. I'm like, wait, I thought you were asking that in game. I went with it. That was so unintentional.
Okay, so I actually have one of my questions is what are some of your favorite moments with some of the NPCs I've had? Just for all of you guys.
Alright. Trying to remember.
I mean, do I have to say it? Fucking Lee Flabbergaster.
Yeah.
I think Ronan.
Fucking Flabbergaster.
Ronan and Lee had a synchronization there, and yeah, that was pretty great. But I truly enjoy the moments that I had with a lot of the different NPCs. Sen. Sen is fucking hilarious to interact with.
Ronan is an outgoing character.
Huh? Yeah, Ronan. I mean, as Ronan, I'm very interactive with all the NPCs.
You
And
are outgoing, man.
Sen, I fucked with hardcore. Oh, you're so fast for such an old man. How did you do that? You don't have arthritis? He's like, oh, what? But Honor, I have to. Honor was a relationship that I had with an NPC prior to going to stream, and I think that it only really deepened because Honor started making references back to Ronan, and Ronan's like, what? And I don't know. I think it's a very special relationship that they had. Where he's like, oh God, you're in this. You're supposed to be one of the futures of the black market. He's like, but I'll entertain you. I got nothing else to do. So the high, the moment non-stream, the high in the cart and the carriage, where he got high with me.
Yeah.
That was glorious. And yeah, and then Lee Flabbergaster from stream. That was excellent.
I guess so far mine is Lee Flabbergaster just fucking showing up out of nowhere.
The fucking
Crunch.
rotisserie chicken on his head.
The fucking rotisserie chicken on his head.
Oh, don't talk
When-
about food. I haven't eaten.
When when I thought Crunch was done, again I was looking up a next character again. Yeah, he showed up again. I was like, all right, character introduction, go. And here it is. Fucking Lee Flabberganser heals him, and Crunch immediately already has his fucking trust because he got him back to the group. For another interdimensional character, yeah, there you go. And then, I guess it'd also be Honor. Like, in the normal D&D world, it'd be Honor, I guess. He's, I think he's the only NPC he would mostly interact with.
You know what I just realized, Sean? You could stick your hand up there and pretend that Josh is a sock puppet. And like you would like move your hand and then like
Wait, this also applies to you too.
Oh, is your hand open?
So yeah, so Josh, what's one of your favorite NPC moments?
Now you would expect me to say Glacia, but no.
I know.
I mean, I'm not that type
The
of
sex
person.
didn't take it.
God, that came out of nowhere, and I was shocked. And as soon as I realized, I shut down. But no, I've honestly been thinking about it, but I kind of liked how Harmonious and that one Lawmaster, the Lawmaster interacted from Mayala. Mayala. I was gonna say Mile, and I'm like, no, that's not it. Don't say that. That's a future character. I did enjoy the interaction of I always joke around about being a babysitter, but Sean knows that every single character I've made has been a babysitter. I made a chaotic evil character and they were the babysitter.
Yeah. Don't know how that worked, but that's how it worked.
That's how it worked.
The only character that wasn't a babysitter was actually Monty.
Because everyone else
was
actually knew what the fuck they were doing.
Well, no, Monty was just a ride-along. And it was an evil campaign, and I was more backseat DMing, honestly. Just teaching Lucky the ropes. But, the Lawmaster, I enjoyed. I honestly didn't really have too much interaction with Honor.
Yeah.
Compared to you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed the little quips they would have together. I mean, especially during the the Balgura. It's a Balgura, not a Balrog. Balrog is actually a Balor in D&D, but the Balgura. Especially when I did the second one, and I look at him, I'm like, honestly, I hope we kill this thing quickly because I'm completely spent. And I was. That second attack was the last thing I can do.
Yeah.
Because I didn't get to answer on my favorite moments with the characters. I have to say, recently, the Papa moment. The Papa moment was one of my favorite moments. When when Harmonious picks up a crying Ronan who just woke up in the battlefield, and he looks up at friggin' Harmonious, and he's like, "What happened?" And then he's like, "Just don't worry about it." And he's like, "Okay, Papa."
I totally forgot about that.
He just carries Ronan away and lays Ronan down to sleep, you know? And friggin' Ronan like passes out in friggin' Harmonious's arms. I thought that was excellent. The way that friggin' Harmonious just accepts it and is like, okay.
Yeah.
That just happened. He got hit by a fireball.
This is how I'm spending my Saturday.
By a fireball.
I'm walking back with this fucking half elf in my arms.
In a dress.
Who just
In
called
a
me
dress.
Papa. With Crunch, I have to say I still hold so much stock in not only in magic wires and bullshit, but like the many times that Ronan catches his reflection in Crunch's armor because Crunch constantly buffing, and he's like, "Oh god."
Yeah.
And
Well, can't do that now since it's still fucking rusted armor.
We'll fix
But,
that sometime in the
please.
eventual future. Who knows when that's gonna
Yep.
happen? If it will happen.
Oh dear God.
my favorite moment was there was just so much power in that small little moment that I was talking about earlier. You know, like between Crunch and Ronan, where with the Balrog, where it was just you know, like, do we tell them? Like there was just that moment felt really powerful for me, so I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And it showed, I don't know, for me it showed such a pivotal point in Crunch's development too. You know, because Crunch was like, "I am Warforged, I kill." You know, Crunch,
What?
and
Yeah.
and then like he actually had a thought occur to him about like, and you see like this humanity side of Crunch. Like, do we tell them? You know,
Yeah.
to even question that.
Yeah.
Which quickly
because,
going back to go ahead, Crunch. Sorry.
because yeah, like he knows. All he knows is that it, even though he doesn't know for all of it, he doesn't know all of his memories. He knows one thing for sure is the fight. So he's been fighting for his survival's sake. Go
How
ahead,
many times-
Armonius.
Another side note: how many times have I picked you up?
Dear God, yeah.
Like,
how many times has Crunch fallen and then was picked up by healing from Harmonious? I've
Too many times.
so
to
far
count.
lost count. Yeah, I've lost count. Is it 5? From 7?
at least
It's quite a
5,
bit.
probably.
It's quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
But you know, going back to the Palgrota fight. I mean, this is like out of character, and I remember you, Ronan, apologizing for getting the kill on it. And I'm like, no, don't apologize. I don't call it kill stealing. I call it finishing the job.
I do remember that line.
What I can recall, 5.
Okay.
But,
it was just a thought that occurred.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the hell is going to come in session number 25. I'm kind of frightened.
He's already afraid. Already afraid.
You know, I think we should be afraid. I think we should be very afraid. But I also look forward to discussing it in the next rolling with it.
Sometimes I default back to the X-Death mindset and become apathetic to something.
Though it makes me wonder, because we got Nadria on the run, trying to get out for blood. It makes me wonder if Zukoka would come back and just do, play as Nadria when needed. Like just join a call, like, oh yeah, ran a boss fight with Nadria, and then Zukoka comes back in and acts out as Nadria, out for blood and all that.
Hopefully by the
Makes
time
me
that
wonder.
happens, I have ranged combat.
And don't forget, we had something dropped to us during this stream that none of us really knew, which is that Jackal's coming back
Yeah.
for 25.
Oh.
So I don't know what that means.
Another person to keep alive.
Person to keep alive.
He's been gone. Like, he's been gone doing his own thing, so I don't know what that thing is. But
Yeah.
that does
Wait
not...
a minute. That just reminds me, he has Devlot's symbol on his hand. I was listening earlier, Sean. I was in the stream thing.
Did you guys spot that?
damn it.
Just like, there's a guy.
Okay,
in his,
okay. The only
My
hint,
my head is full of dice.
the last hint I can give before ending the stream is
Before another question is made.
yes, motherfucker. The
Love
last like hint I can give towards something is I'm just gonna fucking tease you, Josh.
Oh, god damn it! Why me?
You've already met Devlot.
Oh, you
And
son
that's
of a
where we're gonna end the
Oh,
stream,
you
everybody.
bitch.
Even when we're not doing a campaign, he's teasing us.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
think
boy.
Until next time, we will handle whatever Sean gives us. Talk about it later because we're rolling with it.
Have a good one.
Damn.